So we're finally talking about Peter Jackson, but not the movies that you all want us to cover, because I'm terrified, because you Lord of the Rings fans terrify me. Today, we are talking about the final film from Peter Jackson before he dove into the world of Middle-earth. We're talking about 1996's The Frighteners. Let's go.
Your host, Parker, Dan, and Angela slice and dice their way through the good.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
The bad.
You brought the devil!
There's a devil inside everyone.
And the ugly movies you love.
And you can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it!
Hold your favorite films and franchises tight, because they aren't safe. In fact, it's already too late. It's time to dissect that film.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dissect That Film, a podcast that dissects the good, the bad, and the ugly of cinema. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me, as always, my wonderful co-host, Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming.
Hello.
Up. And joining us for the very first time, we have a wonderful guest. He is from the Video Villa Entertainment podcast. We've got Logan on the show today. Welcome to the show, Logan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also, I do want to shout out, he also provided us with our brand new, our spooky logo. It'll be somewhere. You might see it. I might just put the whole thing on the screen here. But very talented human being. And
oh, no, I'm not talented. Those are just doodles.
Stop it. I said the words. Nice, you accept them. We move on. Okay. Before we get started, though, Logan, can you tell us all about your wonderful podcast, Video Villa Entertainment?
Oh, yeah. So it is, we are a husband and wife duo. My other partner, who's not here, but she's here in spirit, Becca, we review movies. Basically, it is a kind of nostalgic base, or just overall movies that we just really like. There is no rhyme or reason on with the movies that we actually pick. You know, we do anywhere from Rocky to Rambo to we've done Friday 13th, we've done All Dogs Go to Heaven. So it's a plethora of different genres. So we just like to sit down and talk about movies that you know, either that we remember from our childhood or we have a strong connection to. 9 times out of 10, it might be the first time Becca's actually seen it. So we do get a cool little fresh take on like the average viewer, what they have seen this like legendary film for the first time and what do they think? And, or, you know, oh, we saw this when we were like 13 and she's, you know, in her 20s seeing it for the first time. It's like, maybe it's not as good as we remember when it was 13. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like a little fun, like, you know, something that's different, I guess. So a little thing that we bring to the table that's a little different.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Do the nostalgia glasses stay on? Exactly. Or do they fall off? But no, I mean, you guys, it's very similar to what we do here. I mean, there was so many movies that we've brought to the table that I've seen and they've never seen. And so it's really great to kind of get those.
Mostly me has never seen.
I wasn't going to point you out. I mean, the listeners know, but
I'm over here pointing myself out.
So yeah, we're talking about The Frighteners. We're finally talking about a Peter Jackson movie on our show. We have talked about a Peter Jackson movie on another show. If you want to go check out our talk on Dead Alive, we talked about that movie over on Podcast in the Woods. Eventually, we're going to do our own episode on it because I fucking love that movie. But if you want to listen to a batshit crazy conversation, please go check out that episode from Podcast in the Woods. But we're talking about The Frighteners. And Logan, what is your history with The Frighteners?
So I definitely saw this younger than I should have seen it. I really literally. So when my uncle was in the military and they would always come down during their holiday because they were always overseas, and he was either stationed like Turkey, Germany, or whatever. So my cousins, that I was really close to they would always come down. And so like whenever this actually was released for rent is when I saw it. And we went to, like, they came down that summer and we went to the video store, Videoville, which is actually the video store we rented it at, because that's where our show comes from, is my hometown video store. That's no longer there. But we rented it from there, and I watched it at my grandmother's house, and it was different because I do remember seeing the trailers for it, and when we actually watched it, it was a lot scarier than I actually thought it was based off the trailers of what my little 7 or 8-year-old mind could handle for the time. But I liked a lot of it until like the very ending, and it scared the shit out of me. The whole like wormhole hell scene scared the shit out of me when I was little.
Dan, Angela, have you ever seen this movie?
Nope.
All right, well,
I see bits and pieces of it. Like I think I mentioned when this got brought up, or it's my choice or whatever. But it's the same thing. Used to have a video store, silver screen video, and they would just play videos on the TV sometimes. It was like a lot of the ending, like the climactic final battle, if you will. I just remember some of that on the TV, and I remember the poster, remember the box art, remember advertisements for it, but that's about it.
Yeah, I remember seeing this probably way too young, because this was definitely a dad movie. This was definitely a movie my dad was just like, yeah, whatever. I was like, the cover looks cool. He's like, get it. I don't care. Just let's get it. Because my mom, she would have looked on the back, saw I was rated R, and she'd be like, nope. So definitely had to take advantage.
Your dad sounds like a cool dude.
My dad,
he's like, yeah, Parker, grab that scary one and get some of them titty movies behind the beads.
That's kind of the thing with me. I'm kind of the same way. Like I've let my my oldest is gonna be 13. I have a 2-year-old, but like with my 2 older kids, I don't really care. Like if it's a rated R movie, but I know there's not like a lot of nudity, there's not like super graphic stuff in it, I'll let them watch it. I don't care. Like it's one of those things where I've told them like, it's a movie, guys. It's a movie. Like you got to remember that. And that's always what my dad told me. It's like, it's just a movie. And so my dad was very different than my mom when it came to like what I could watch and stuff. But when it came to, I loved Michael J. Fox, of course, because of Back to the Future. I think that was where everybody kind of fell in love with Michael J. Fox, between that and Family Ties. And so getting to see him in kind of like a horror movie, I was like, I'm sold. I didn't know anything about Peter Jackson at the time. I didn't know about any of his prior work. It was mostly, this movie sold me because of Michael J. Fox. And so, yeah, I don't really remember watching this, but I do. That Grim Reaper that you see in this movie was always something that I remember throughout my childhood. Was just like every time I saw a Grim Reaper, I thought of this movie. It was weird. But yeah, that's my somewhat short history on this. Now let's talk about the people who were behind this movie. So of course it was directed by Peter Jackson. This would be his final movie before jumping into Lord of the Rings. This was also his first studio film. All of his prior films were independent films, and you could tell because they were all very violent, very just kind of, he could do whatever the hell he wanted. But Universal picked this one up. This was actually a product of Jackson and his wife, Fran Walsh, and then Robert Zemeckis was greatly involved in this because originally Robert Zemeckis was going to be the one to direct it. But after reading the script and figuring it all out, Zemeckis was like, no, I think you need to direct this, and I'll just be on as a producer. Dan, Angela, can you remember? Actually, Logan, you might know this too. Do you know the last Ghost movie that? Well, actually, Logan you may not have listened to the episode, but I'm just gonna say it. Do you know the last movie we've talked about on the show, a ghost movie that Robert Zemeckis was a producer for?
Do you know what it is?
I know you did
Ghost Ship, wasn't it?
Ghost Ship.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yes, he was a producer for Ghost Ship, but I was like, holy shit. I wasn't that surprised when I saw Zemeckis' name because I think it's just always synonymous with Michael J. Fox because, of course, Zemeckis directed all the Back to the Future movies. So you're just you're like, Michael J. Fox, Zemeckis, they got to be involved in everything together, right? No, not they weren't, but pretty cool. But originally this was going to be a Tales of the Crypt episode. And then Zemeckis was like, no. This needs to be a full-length movie. He watched Peter Jackson's prior film, Heavenly Creatures, which actually a character in this movie is named after the actress who was in that movie, who also makes a cameo in this movie. Did you get all that, guys? So Melanie Linsky.
No.
So Melanie Linsky, who she's been a thing for a while, but she she made her like big break in 2.5 Men, the show with Charlie Sheen and John Cryer. She played like their neighbor. And then after that show ended, she was doing a lot of acting. She was in like The Last of Us last year. She's in a show called Yellow Jackets. She's been in a lot of movies. She's from New Zealand, but she was in that Heavenly Creatures movie, which came out before this. She's also married to Jason Ritter, who we talked about on Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But he gave her a small cameo. She plays the cop that's taking what's the main girl's name? Her last name's Linsky.
Yes,
into the police station. She has no speaking role. She has no lines. Yeah, but she is the cop that's bringing her in, and literally she is bringing a character that is named after her, which I thought was pretty funny.
There you go.
This movie was released on July 19th, 1996, which was not what Jackson wanted. They actually, Zemeckis and Jackson pushed for this movie to be released during October, but Universal said, nah, it's fine. You'll be all right, even though Independence Day was coming out. And literally, like a week or two before this, I had a budget of $26 million, only made $29.3 million worldwide. So it made its money back, but it was technically considered a flop. But it became a cool classic later on. It was definitely, when it comes to like Peter Jackson movies, I think, especially nowadays, I feel like The Frighteners isn't talked about as much. It's always Dead Alive. It's Meet the Feebles. What's
Bad Taste?
Bad Taste. Yeah, it's usually those really obscure, the beginnings of Jackson's career, and of course, Lord of the Rings. Are you a Lord of the Rings fan, Logan?
To be honest, I didn't read any of the books. I watched the movies, and I'm more sci-fi than fantasy personally. I like robots and aliens more than like ogres and dragons and stuff like that. So, I mean, I liked them. They were fun. They're okay to me. Like, I mean, but I get like, I get people's like, that is their niche. So I understand why they are so like loved after and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, if it wasn't for the Frighteners, he wouldn't be able to make those movies because apparently all the computers that he bought for the Frighteners, he was able to use for Lord of the Rings because they were like they felt like they were about to go bankrupt because he spent all this money on these computers that he had no use for after the Frighteners.
Yeah, this movie pretty much was the breakout for Weta Workshop, or just Weta as a company, because Peter Jackson helped found that company, and they only had one computer. But in order to do all the effects for this movie, they needed to buy 35. There was 35, which now it would even, I don't even know what they use now. Weta Workshops is like one of the biggest effects shops in the world.
They just use Chat GTP. It's fun.
Sad. It's so sad. But yeah, it's wild. The thing about this movie came out in 96. So it is 28 years old now. The effects are awesome. I love the way like things look janky, but I feel like it's for a reason. And it just like, I feel like I've seen movies that came out around the same time that tried to do CGI. I know this is the early days of CGI. Like Jurassic Park, of course, we've talked about it many times. The big thing, like that put CGI on the map. Like you had T2, you had The Abyss, which was kind of its introduction, and kind of where you were starting to see like what it could do. But Jurassic Park, like that was the thing. And so this, you had movies like a movie that came out a year later that would use effects in horrible ways, Spawn, which just was a mess. There are some good effects. We've talked about, we have a whole episode. You want to check out our episode on Spawn? We got a whole episode where we talk about it.
Sure shit ain't the opening credits, but carry on.
Oh my God, those flame credits, those title sequences are so awful in that movie. But I will say that scene where they're in by the dumpster with the violator, with the practical effects, those are some of the best practical effects, I think. Like literally, besides like some other like close up horror movie practical effects, those are some of the best practical effects I've ever seen. Like animatronics, like that scene's amazing. until you bring in the CGI.
Yeah. There is moments of good CGI. Like the Violator, I know it's mostly practical, but I know they use CGI as well, and it does look good.
Yeah.
Because we've always talked about it. Like early CGI looks great in the dark.
Yeah.
Because you can hide more there. You can hide the jankiness or just the way it looks, the textures and all that. But then when you
on
get
a
to
CRT,
hell, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
on a CRT,
absolutely.
yeah.
That's why there's just certain movies where it's like, do you guys really want a 4K? Do you
Exactly.
really want a 4K?
I agree with that.
Like I
Yeah.
love 4K. Don't get me wrong. I buy 4K all the time, but there are movies out there where you're like, I don't know if 4K is the best idea. Like Blu-ray,
Yeah.
probably as far as we want to go. We covered the original Friday the 13th a couple weeks ago, and I bought the 4K, and like it's a really good transfer, but like we pointed out the fact that like on 4K you could clearly see the apertures on the actors, like where they're doing like slits,
Yeah.
the slits, or like the scene with Kevin Bacon. It's like, again, we have an episode on Friday the 13th. Check that out. Are we going to talk about this movie? I don't know. I'm sorry.
Maybe we might get there. Did you want to say?
As long as Parker's not going to mention it. Did you talk about the music?
I haven't gotten there yet. No.
Okay.
You can go. Go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
It's done by Danny Elfman.
It sure is. And you can tell as soon as you hear that first note, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Tim Burton was actually one of the possible directors for this.
Oh,
if
fuck.
Peter Jackson.
Thank God.
You shush your mouth.
That's
right
this would have been
now.
prime. This would have been prime Tim Burton.
Yeah,
This was when he's like knocking dingers after dingers after dingers.
Allegedly. Go ahead. Look, I'm just
No.
I'm not a big Burton fan.
Some of them don't hold up. Like apparently Edward Scissorhands doesn't hold up if you think about it like logistically and like the concept. You're like, oh no, this movie's fucked up.
I hate to
we
keep
should
doing
not
this.
have liked this movie.
I hate to keep doing this, but if you want to know our thoughts on Edward Scissorhands, we have an episode. I feel like Tony right now. It's like, God, we're
Hey, can I say something though?
Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of, no, we can talk about this. Hold on, this is relevant not to Edward.
As long as you're not going to put down my man.
Well, relevant to Tim Burton. You should go see the new Beetlejuice.
Oh yeah,
it should still be in theaters. I'm sure it will be by the time something.
Have you seen it, Parker?
I have not. I haven't had the time. Unfortunately,
I will say if you get the time,
it's on the agenda. It's
definitely
coming up. Yeah,
she
definitely watch.
She made me. She's like, you ain't eating until you take me. It's like
it's
been 4 days, dear. She's like, you still ain't eating.
I know you don't like Burton, but this is Beetlejuice.
This is
no, I thanked him for coming with me. I said, otherwise I would have gone by myself.
I ain't gonna do that.
100%.
All right. Well, let's talk about the actors. We have Michael J. Fox as Frank Bannister. When it came to casting for this role, he was it. He was the only person they wanted. But this would also be his final lead acting role. So all of Peter Jackson's movies are filmed in New Zealand. So of course, if you're not from New Zealand, it's a lot of traveling, and he didn't like being away from his family so much. And then of course his Parkinson's would progress pretty rapidly. And I know it got really bad when he was doing Spin City, which was right after this movie.
Yeah.
I loved Spin City.
I love that show.
And then he left, and then they brought Charlie Sheen in, and I went,
yeah.
We have Trini Alvarado. To be honest, this was a person I was, when I was watching this movie, I'm like, I know who you are. I think I've seen things that you've been in. And then I looked through her IMDb and went, I don't think I've seen any of these. Who are you? I've never heard of this person. She's good in this. Who are you? She plays Lucy Linsky. We have Peter Dobson as Ray Linsky. You want to know how many credits he has playing Elvis? Or an Elvis impersonator?
Which is funny because there's Elvis statue in the house.
That's actually an Easter egg for him. Because
funny.
He played young Elvis in Forrest Gump, which was directed by Zemeckis.
Oh yeah, okay.
You don't ever see his face, but he is in that. I think Kurt Russell was also played like the older Elvis in Forrest Gump as well.
Kurt Russell played Elvis in John Carpenter's Elvis movie, the made-for-TV
Yes,
movie.
yeah, I knew that, but I thought he also played. Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
Let's
Maybe
see.
that's
I got
wrong.
it.
I'm gonna erase that from the record. But yeah, he plays Ray Linsky, and to be honest, I really liked this character. I thought I was gonna hate him as soon as I saw him, and then he made me. Dude, he was a dick. He was a dick, but he was.
Sucked.
There was some funny moments with this dude. John Astin as the judge, and to be honest, I saw his name in the credits, and I went, "Where is he in this movie?" Went through the whole movie. Who is he? And then I literally went into IMDb and saw he played the judge, and I went, "Wow, that's some good makeup effects right there, man."
Yep.
He disappears into this. This movie is the reason that his son or stepson would be in Lord of the Rings, Sean Astin.
That cocksucker. I knew it. I knew he had to be related to him some way.
Yeah, he's for anyone who doesn't know who John Astin is, he was Gomez Addams in the original Addams Family.
He was the Riddler. I think he took over. I can't remember if he was the first Riddler in Batman 66 or if he was the second Riddler.
Yeah, yep, I do remember that. I don't remember. No,
he was one of them.
I think he was the second.
Yeah,
I think he might have been the second. But yeah, he was also in Gremlins 2. I love Gremlins 2. He plays like a janitor. But yeah, he pretty much talked Sean into auditioning for Lord of the Rings, and the rest is history.
He's like, "You did Rudy, you could do this."
Then we have,
is that the pitch?
We have one of my favorites in this movie, in a role where, to be honest, I have watched this movie twice for this episode, which I don't normally do. I usually one and done it before we do anything. Jeffrey Combs in this movie as Milton Dammers, and I still don't know what this character is, or who he is, or what he does, but he's here. Maybe somebody, maybe somebody in this panel can explain to me why. But I love Jeffrey Combs, so I don't care. He's in this movie, and I'm here for it.
Do you know why we had the conversation about how, not just necessarily in this one, but mainly in other episodes, we discussed how just Tim Burton just has a way about his people. Like Logan referenced Edward Scissorhands. We talk about Beetlejuice. His characters are just fucking weird sometimes, right? And this is just Peter Jackson, like weird. This is just early Peter Jackson, weird ass character.
This is the uncle from Dead Alive. This is that weird uncle who eats the gooey, the ooze pudding.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's
100%.
just what all these characters remind me of. It's like this is his Dead Alive, like he's definitely his ideas from Dead Alive, but just like kind of used again, but just his weird attitude towards shit.
Yeah, and you were correct about Kurt Russell, by the way.
I was.
Wow. Yep. Yes, I just looked it up.
Cool. Yeah, I knew. Yeah, I knew. But I knew he was in. I knew he was in the John Carpenter movie, which I have never seen. I didn't even know about it, to be honest, until I think we covered The Thing. That's an interesting tidbit. Dee Wallace is also in this movie, and I love Dee Wallace. Very sad though that during the filming of this movie, actually, it might have been like towards the end of filming of this movie, her husband passed away. And so she constantly had to fly back home and back to New Zealand. And Peter Jackson paid for it all without her knowing, all of her flights. And I think that's why she goes by Dee Wallace Stone in the credits, because that was her married name. But she was cast because she always played like the mother figures. You know, she was the mom in E.T., which is literally every time I see her in a movie, I just go, "Oh, it's Mom from E.T." I know her name. That's what she'll always be. She's great. But she always plays like the loving character. Like she never Peter Jackson literally cast her to be the opposite of what she normally plays, and she plays it perfectly in this.
Well, here's the thing though. I mean, if people don't realize, it's like, yes, she's the mom, but she is a stone cold fox.
Yeah.
Go back and watch E.T. and her in the cat suit. Go back and rewatch Cujo. You're like, go or watch Critters. You know, like, or The Howling. Like, this lady is a very beautiful woman, but they always dress her down to be the mom figure. I'm like, she could have been like, I mean, I'm just saying, she was gorgeous in her heyday. Gorgeous.
I mean,
very beautiful woman.
To be honest, in the end of this movie, when she puts on that outfit before she goes on her rampage, I'm like, all right, Dee Wallace, I'm here for it. You're a psychopath, but I'm here for it. Yes, I'm so happy that we got to talk about another Busey during this season. We talked about his dad all the way back on episode 140, back to season 1 or season 2's premiere episode for Silver Bullet, and now we get to talk about Jake as he played Johnny Bartlett. We have Chai McBride as Cyrus, which was one of the ghosts that works with Frank. Jim Fife, who's Stuart, who is the other ghost. Troy Evans as Sheriff Walt, who he's another guy who I'm like, I've seen you in so many things, but I can't name him.
Yeah.
I just can't put him together. Like, I've seen you,
but he was
in
a cool
things.
sheriff.
Oh yeah,
he wasn't a piece of shit. He's like, I know these people.
He was in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas
He was in Demolition Man.
and Demolition Man.
I probably would have remembered him more from Demolition Man than Fear and Loathing, because that
and-
movie
No. Under Siege. He's in Ace Ventura.
Pet
Yes,
Detective.
Ace Ventura. There you go.
Yeah.
That's it. Was he Roger Predactor or Predacta?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. 100%.
Oh god, I love that movie. Juliana McCarthy as Old Lady Bradley. Arlie Ermey as Hiles. Literally, he was cast in this movie to pretty much be the same character he was in Full Metal Jacket. That's just literally 100% the purpose of this.
That's just who he is.
That's
Anything
what he
he's
does.
in.
Well, not anything. I mean, he's a piece of shit in Texas Chainsaw Remake, but he does a good job.
He's the
But it's
But
not
when
best
he
part
does
of the
his
Texas Chainsaw
own
Remake.
thing,
Yeah.
he does his own thing where he was he did the guns and everything.
Yeah, I know.
That was him.
Yep, that's
Like,
just Arlie
that was
Ermey,
just
doing his thing.
him.
Nice.
Can I just be myself? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even in Saving Silverman, he's the same,
Okay.
pretty much the same thing. But then they make him gay at the end, and he falls in love with Jack Black.
Wasn't he the dad in Freddy Got Fingered? Wasn't he Freddy's dad?
No, oh God, what was
Mm-mm.
his dad? Because his dad is like breaking his leg on his skate ramp, and he starts licking the bone. Oh God, what was his dad? Oh, who was? No, his dad was his dad had black hair and a beard, right? He's the actor. I can just see his face. Was he in Super Troopers? Right? Wasn't that his dad?
Yeah, it's Rip Torn.
Yeah, Rip Torn.
Oh, Rip Torn from Men in Black. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hosting an intergalactic kegger.
Oh, you're thinking, Logan. You're thinking of Brian Cox.
Yeah. From like X2 and stuff.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in The Ring?
He was.
He was good in. Not long, but he was in that movie.
I mean, that movie's good. Period. But I digress.
It is a good movie, actually. Thank you,
And the last one that I'll mention from the cast is Elizabeth Hawthorne, who played Magda Reese Jones. I just wanted to say her name because it's said many times.
Full, middle, and last. Well,
beat her with a hammer.
It's hyphenated, so yes.
All right. Well, are we ready to hop into the plot of The Frighteners?
Can we talk about the movie that Jake Busey was in?
He's been in a lot.
He was
in Predator 2.
You care to say? No.
The last movie he was in, it was from this year. It's called Guns and Moses.
Nice.
It's pretty fucking funny. Carry on.
I know that he was in the Predator movie before Prey, The Predator, where he played pretty much the same character his dad played in Predator 2.
Really?
Jake Busey's been around a lot longer than people think. Like he's in his 50s. Like Gary Busey is not a young dude. Like he's
no.
Every time I hear though of Jake Busey, I'm like, oh yeah, But he's in like Starship Troopers. I'm like, all right. Like how old is this guy?
Thing. With Gary Busey, people forget like Gary Busey back in the day was a well-respected actor.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was nominated for an Oscar for the Buddy Holly movie. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like he was actually somebody at one point in time, and it didn't last long, but he was actually he was a De Niro for a second.
Yeah. Hey, that's
I enjoyed him in Silver Bullet.
That was before. That was like towards the tail end of it. Well, actually, he was pretty normal
until that motorcycle accident or whatever.
Yeah, which I think was like the early 90s. Okay. Wear your helmet. Wear a helmet when you're riding a motorcycle. I don't know if he was or not, but I'm guessing not.
He was in Twister?
Yeah, he was one of Jonas's dicks.
No,
he shows up for like one shot. He's literally like
he fits right in.
Mobile
he's one of the dudes sitting at a computer looking at a radar. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
You say wear a helmet, but also wear long sleeves.
And
And
jeans.
not-
Fuck.
Yeah, be prepared when you
Yeah,
ride a
do
motorcycle.
not-
That's why you will
Do not
never,
wear shorts and a
ever,
tank top.
ever find me on a motorcycle. Ever. I digress. All right, let's hop into the plot of The Frighteners. Are we ready? It's time to dissect that. Boom! We start off on a rainy night at a scary house, and shit is going down. And we see Dee Wallace, and she is very scared as she's being attacked by a wall monster. And I love this effect. I don't care. People can say it's bad. It looks great. I fucking love it. It was as a kid, it's scary as hell.
Oh yeah,
and I love that you get like the monster right away. It's
Yeah.
they're not just hiding it in the shadows or anything. It's like, nope, we're seeing this wall coming to life and all the different things. I love how it literally, it's not just the walls. It can go into like the counters. It like, my favorite is when she hides under the table and it comes out like it's like wood coming after her.
Mhm.
It's so good. And
Oh,
then
the
Just trying to
stairs?
tell her.
oh yeah,
And it's the little like the
yeah.
treads, the little like stair like tread thingies. It just keeps on popping them as it goes up them. That's really good to see.
it's all great. And then it gets to the top where it attacks Dee Wallace and it's like choking her. And then the mom comes out and just blasts just wherever the head is. And then you
It's just trying to tell her not to go to bed with socks on.
It's important.
Don't wear socks when you go to sleep.
wait, this whole
It's weird.
situation was so that this thing could tell
Yeah.
her not to wear socks to bed.
Exactly.
That
Yeah, it's
scene-
all just a misunderstanding.
It's a misunderstanding.
It's like Jaws 2.
Jaws too.
This-
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%.
the shark just wanted to help.
It
Yes.
did, but it doesn't have hands.
This one can't talk, so
Or does it have a mouth guard so it can like grab people and like gently push them out of the way?
Then we get the title card. Oh yeah. It's time for a funeral. It over the last 4 years, there have been 30 people that have died from heart attacks. Young, old, people that are super healthy. It's just kind of this weird situation going on in this town. The local paper is trying to come up with a perfect story, and of course, this is where you got Magda over the shoulder of this one dude who is trying his hardest to act really good, but it is very wooden. And I was like, hey man, I'll give you the effort. Because he has to say her name. And I love when characters say other characters' names all the time. I'm like, why? No one talks like this. No one, like, I'm not constantly just like every time I talk, hey Dan, hey Angela, hey Logan. Like no one does that all the time. Like if we're talking right now, it doesn't make sense.
A child does.
Yes, I will say that, but not,
Hey,
but
Dad.
not adults.
Hey, Dad.
oh my gosh. You have oh my,
What?
we have one that's like, hey mom, guess what?
Oh,
Every
yeah,
time
yeah.
she talks.
Yeah,
Hey, Mom, guess
everything is
what?
guess
I'm
what.
like,
Everything's guess what.
Oh my gosh.
Our youngest son is, hey, can I tell you something? And my response every time is no. But go ahead. Like, I always tell him that. And he's just so used to it now. It doesn't faze him anymore.
No, my favorite is I'm sitting 2 feet from my youngest, who is two and a half, and he'll just go, Mom. I'm like, I'm right here. What's up? No, Mom. I'm like, whatever, dude.
It's the opposite for us.
They will bypass me standing right there. Hey, Dad, can you help me open this? And I'm like, are you serious right now? I'm right here.
I'll be like balls deep in a raid on Tarkov. Like I
They
can't
will walk
stop.
all the way
And, like,
downstairs
it's like,
from the kitchen.
hey, can I get something to eat? I was like, isn't your mom upstairs? Yeah. Go ask her. Like what?
I'm right here.
I can't do more than she can. Like
Or
go ahead.
you'll be in the bathroom and they'll come. They'll come.
Certain
knock on
parents,
the
I
door.
guess, to their
Hey,
kids just have superpowers.
Fingers under
This
the
one
door.
does.
Daddy.
He can do no wrong. I'm the bad cop. He's the good cop.
Oh, I whoop ass.
Parenthood, isn't it fun?
Wait for a wall.
It's also the thing where she's like, make sure to not have death be a person. Like, don't talk about death like it's a person, because that was kind of like the whole story about how there's like this, like death is just sweeping this town with no explanation and pretty much talking about it as if it's its own thing and not just some weird circumstance. So then we meet Frank Bannister, and he is, well, later you find out he's a con man, but he's going to funerals with his business card, And I love that the one dude is like perfectly okay with what's happening, and then the other dude's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" just, just wanders away.
And the way he acts in this entire movie, like there is a like a Peter Jackson esque of like how he kind of like directs his actors. I mean, you get that, like you get a lot of it with like Bad Taste and like, you know, Brain Dead or Dead Alive, whatever you want to call it. But like this one, you still get like the way Michael Fox is acting. It's just weird. Like the way he's stumbling and walking around. It's kind of like I don't know. It just feels like this like kind of like persona of like, well, almost everybody, even like the physical active guy, physically fit guy or whatever. He's just acting over the top. Even like the smallest gestures are just over the top.
Oh,
And it's like his style, it feels like. I mean, except for like Lord of the Rings, but like everything else before that was very similar.
Which blew my mind because, like you literally nailed it, Logan. Like when we watched, like I have not seen his entire early repertoire, but we talked about Dead Alive, and it's the same shit with like the main character and the other people in their movies. They're just so eccentric and they like intentionally overact things. But it's like you said, it's this quirk almost.
Yeah, it's not. It's kind of like if you watch trauma films, especially the ones that Lloyd Kaufman does. It's not as like theatrical as that, but it's pretty close. It is like a style, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's definitely has to be coming from Peter Jackson himself, because why would every single movie, you know, I understand like a Bad Taste when he's being on the screen and he's doing it himself, but like when other characters are doing it, you have to see like, okay, it's got to be something that the director wants them to do, you know?
Which still makes me wonder, like, no disservice to the guy, because the guy can direct, all right? I'm not saying the guy can. Why his earlier repertoire, I've not seen Heavenly Things or whatever the fuck it's called.
Heavenly
Creatures. But there you go. That's the thing. But anyway, they watch these movies and I'm like, this is the Lord of the Rings guy.
Yeah, that is interesting. I do like, it is crazy the fact that like, okay, after Lord of the Rings and then The Frighteners is like, you know, the fact that like, I know it was like he wanted to do that, so he came up like, it was like he was like, hey, I want to do this, and then the people were like, okay, we'll let you do it. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like people came after him like, oh, we want to make these movies, you do them. It's like he's like, oh, I know this is an option for me. Would y'all let me do this? But it's still weird. Like you see those movies, like, okay, yeah, he can do it. It's just so different. You know what I mean? It is it's interesting when you see that in film.
Exactly. And as big of an investment it was, like we're making these 3 films simultaneously with these very good, well-known actors. At least I feel at the time, I don't know if they were rolling into the movie. Some of them weren't. Like, here you go. Here's a shit ton of money and you're making 3 fucking movies and you're doing it in New Zealand in your backyard. Now go do it. All right. I know that's not exactly how it went, but it's just like, I would love to know, like, I'm sure there's something out there. I want to know like how that fucking happened. That's
like to be a fly on the wall in that boardroom when they were having these discussions, and like, you know, and seeing like how it all went down. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Like, you know, when things get made and you're like, well, I know it's hard to get something that actually made, so I want to see the process of how that thing actually got made as a first person view, you know?
Yeah, because this movie opened up his opportunity to do Lord of the Rings, but also this movie actually got him King Kong, because like they wanted a King Kong movie before it initially came out, but because of Lord of the Rings, he had to wait until I think it came out in 2005, so it was almost a decade after this movie came out that King Kong finally was able to happen. But there was a movie that he did after King Kong called The Lovely Bones. I don't know if anyone here has heard of that movie. It is based on a book. No joke. I guarantee not many people know that Peter Jackson directed that movie. I didn't know that he directed that movie until the end credits, when I was like, no fucking way this was a Peter Jackson
I went
movie.
to go see it because Peter Jackson directed it, and I was very let down when I saw it. I didn't read the book. I still need to get around to doing the book, but apparently it's just, the book is just so much better. But the movie itself, I didn't really like it. But if people like it, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, like, it just didn't, the way I thought the story and how the movie was going to be handled, based off of the trailers, and that could have just been poor trailers. You know what I mean? It wasn't the movie I thought we were going to get.
The thing that annoyed me about that movie was the fact that we had to believe that Mark Wahlberg and Rachel Weisz were a couple.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Is this like the reading thing?
No, it's just Mark Wahlberg.
What's more believable? Them being a couple or him reading?
I don't know. It's pretty close. I don't even want to give an answer.
It wasn't. Ryan Gosling was supposed to be Stanley Tucci's character, and he apparently gained 30 pounds.
That would have been great. And
Stanley
Tucci kills in that movie, by the way.
He got it. I think he got it. And when he showed up for the table read, and they like, "What did you do?" He's like, "Well, this was what I thought I was supposed to." And they're like, "No, this is not what we wanted." And he ended up getting let go from the movie. But yeah, he's getting and I don't know if this is right. Like, I think a couple years later, or I think a year later, he did Lars and the Real Girl, which he was very heavy for that. So I guess he just was able to roll into that after doing this. But yeah, it was really like, I didn't even know that. I just recently found that out because he was doing press, I think, for Fall Guy. Yeah. And that was one thing. Like, what movie did you get that or what movie did you want to do that you couldn't get? And he brought up that story.
Yeah, I think what's unfortunate for PeterJackson is that, he started off his career doing these weird indie, like schlocky horror movies. I love them, but that's what they are. And then he did this movie, which, like I said before, was his first studio film, which, he didn't have as much control. Of course, we talked about the fact that it wasn't released when he wanted it to be released, which his other films would have been released whenever the hell he wanted. And then he got Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings was so big that is what PeterJackson is known for. Like, you talk to Lord of the Rings fans, and I guarantee most of them won't know about any of his prior work because of just, that's what PeterJackson is. He's Lord of the Rings. So when he stepped away from Lord of the Rings, which he had to, he ran out of books to make movies about.
No, he ain't done.
And he goes and does King Kong, which was successful. But then he does stuff like Lovely Bones, where he's trying to get away from that world, and it doesn't work. And so what does he do? He goes, why don't I make 3 movies about one book that's smaller than one of the Lord of the Rings books? Damn you, PeterJackson. Damn you.
With worse special effects after 10 years later. That's the only that's the biggest gripe I have. It's like, why is this movie coming out like 10 years after these films? And it looks worse. That doesn't make the math, because this math ain't mathing. It don't make sense. I'm sorry, but it does make sense. And it's gut wrenching. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't see how when, someone saw the final product and we're like, you can just pick this up at the video store right now and it looks better than this. Like why does this look so bad? You know what I mean? I don't get it. I don't get it.
And he made Ian McKellen cry. Like, come on, bro. What are we doing?
What?
Because he had to act against a bunch of green screen for The Hobbit, because it was different than Lord of the Rings. Because Lord of the Rings, they did that forced perspective where the actor was still in the room, but they had to sit, farther apart for size difference. But in The Hobbit, it was Ian McKellen filming in front of a bunch of green screens, and he literally got so frustrated he started crying during one of the shots. I mean, even Christopher Lee.
I cry when I get frustrated too.
Yeah, even Christopher Lee was getting pissed off because he didn't even film his stuff for The Hobbits in New Zealand. He had to film it in LA. So he just had to do everything by himself. Like, that's gotta be super frustrating for, especially legends like that. Like, people, like guys who, of course, they know about CGI and they've worked with it, but it's you want that human interaction. You need to act against somebody to kind of get that raw emotion, especially when it comes to those two. We're diving too deep into a franchise I am terrified of, because I have talked about covering Lord of the Rings at some point, but I am so scared because I feel like we're going to get torn to shreds, because I'm either not going to pronounce names right, I'm going to get things wrong, and people are going to call me out. Listen, I get things wrong all the time on this show. You should be used to that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no, I'm not saying I'm not agreeing with you that you do. I'm not saying, oh, yeah, I've noticed. No. I mean,
listen,
I do the same. No, I do the same thing. And it's so funny when I listen to the playback, and sometimes when I'm listening to the playback, I'm like, that's what I said. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. That's not what I said. But you're listening to an audio recording, you saying it. Yeah. It's like, all right, I guess my wife's got some kind of a argument against me when I'm like, I didn't say that. Yes, you did, Logan. Yes, you did. I'm like, well, maybe she is right.
My biggest thing.
They sound a lot like us.
for everyone listening, we're gonna get back to the movie in just a second. I had this happen when we covered Batman 89, like 2 years ago, and we were talking about Sean Young, who was originally supposed to be in the movie, but so the real story is she broke her leg. She like fell off a horse. I must have seen this fact on some site. Couldn't tell you what. I read a thing that she was an alcoholic and Tim Burton didn't want her in the movie. And to be honest, I have never gone back to fix it. But here it is, people. Here's me fixing it. All these episodes later. We're like 120 episodes later after that episode. I apologize, Sean Young. I know the real story. I just never wanted to go back and fix it. And I'm surprised no one called me out on it. So either no one listens to our show or people just don't care.
So
or
she was drunk, then she fell off the horse?
Huh?
She was drunk and then she fell off the horse.
I don't know.
Sounds right to me. Let's run with it.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yes.
So Frank leaves the funeral and he's driving like a psychopath. This is hilarious. Literally, I'm sitting here and my wife literally is laughing her ass off because he is just driving across the grass because it's like this windy road. Oh my God, it's so good. And he crashes into a fence, which is I guess a callback to Back to the Future because he drives through a fence with the DeLorean in probably every single one. But we meet Ray, and boy, he is something else. Yeah, I thought he was going to say something about the fence. He's worried about his grass. You marked up my grass. Oh man, I love it when Frank just purposely backs up over the gnome. The thing is, he runs over the gnome, completely destroys it. What gnome is he picking up? He's like, oh no! I was like, that's not the same gnome.
Butzo or something like that.
Yeah, it was some weird name. I didn't write it down. This sounds right.
He's just like, my gnome with a name.
Yeah.
Like, do you
this
name
must
all
be
of
relevant.
them?
This is important to somebody somewhere. This is too specific of a name.
My favorite part is when he comes back. And for no reason, he doesn't need to. He runs into the rest of the fence. It's like, you didn't need to. That was an accident. This time you purposely did it.
He's got a plan. He's got a plan. Yeah. We then meet Dr. Linsky. She is visiting the creepy house from the beginning of the movie. We find out it's the Bradleys. The mom, she's literally going there to check up on the daughter, Dee Wallace's character. And the mom is very like, no, you're not the doctor who's supposed to be here. She's like, well, I'm just filling in. She's like, nah, I'm good. You can go now. And when she leaves, she literally was like, I know the truth. I know my daughter actually murdered those people. Because you find out that Dee Wallace's character was involved in like a bunch of murders from like the late 60s, which was like 15 years old. And it was the whole thing of like, she was just there. She wasn't actually involved in it, but the mom is pretty much stating like, no, she was.
Yeah, you can't be trusted.
Yeah.
You can't be trusted. I know the evil that you are.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
We then are back at home. You find out that Ray and Dr. Linsky are a couple, and she's watching this video about serial killers. And on the cover of the VHS tape, Melanie Linsky and Kate Winslet from Heavenly Creatures are on that cover.
Nice.
And I love her. He's like, of course, he's the douchey. Are they married? Are they husband and wife? Are they just boyfriend? Girlfriend?
Yeah, they're married.
They're married.
Yeah, they're married. Yeah.
He's the dick husband who's like pretty much telling her to shut the fuck up. Like, no, you're not going back there. You're staying here. Like, it's too dangerous. They're creepy. I guess they've only lived there for a little bit too. They've only been there for.
Yeah, they just moved there not too long ago because they said that when he's like doing his little exercises, like where he's just like, we've been here for only like a month now or something like that, and you're already. I don't know what it was, but yeah, they made it adamant that they haven't been there for a long time.
Yeah. We also get this weird thing where he wants to get it on with her, and he's like, Tiger's getting lonely, and I'm like, I don't like this.
I don't like him anymore.
So weird.
Are you gonna say
Oh,
anything?
I didn't know I was waiting for. I thought he was getting to it.
No.
We haven't talked about Barnett yet.
Oh yeah. Oh, so she's watching the tape that's about Johnny
Yeah, she's
Bartlett.
watching it.
Bartlett.
It's like the massacre at this hospital, and Patricia was 15 years old. I mentioned that part, but I didn't mention Bartlett.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole thing where he killed 12 people to compete with a other serial killer. It was like Showalter or something like that, who had 11. Starkweather, who was an actual serial killer.
Yeah,
that's
the one that my grandma went to school with.
Oh shit! There it is.
No
We
shit.
finally tied it in, Dan. You've talked about it
Yep.
on multiple episodes, and we finally got to tie it into an actual.
We were watching. It's like Charles Starkweather. I was like, "That's the fucking guy." My grandma said he was weird.
Oh, really? I bet.
Like I think if I recall, she said I didn't hang out with him, but I knew him, and I think she said he seemed nice, but he was weird. I think that's what she said.
It would have been weirder if he was very, very nice and friendly. That would be even weirder.
Really weird. Like I said, she wasn't like direct friends. They went to school together, and she just knew him.
Mm-hmm.
So
I had a teacher in high school who went to school with Jim Jones, and to hear the stories of
I don't know who that is.
how odd he
You don't know
was.
about Jonestown?
Fucking
The
hell.
Jones-
Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah.
No.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Ugh.
You've never heard that phrase?
Yeah, don't
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cult leader.
It was.
It wasn't Kool-Aid. It was Flavor Aid.
Excuse
Just
me.
kidding. Just kidding.
To hear the stories of him, I was like, wow, okay.
Freak. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, the house starts coming alive, and the bed starts floating, and the Elvis statue floats by, and yeah, I just love after they leave the bedroom and they're in the kitchen, and he's just like, "You don't need to call him," because she's about to call Frank. He's like, "It's fine," and things are just floating around him in the kitchen.
There has to be a reasonable explanation for all this. Like, sure, dude.
It's a pan to the face. But yeah, Logan mentioned it. We get the second drive through the fence when Bannister shows up, and he runs over another gnome. We have to get a close up of that as well.
You got the name.
Oh, Budzo was the name. I'm like, that's a stupid name.
That had to be like his dog growing up, or like somebody they knew. They just called that.
He just couldn't name it Buddy.
Or like a New Zealand television kid show. It's like Budzo the Clown.
It's Bozo.
Maybe.
Well, I mean,
from here, it's Bozo.
Oh yeah, well, Bozo the Clown, he was big. Like I watched Bozo all the time. He lived in Columbia, Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah, he used to come to our mall. He was old though at that time. He was an old man. But yeah, the original.
That's cool.
The original,
like a walker that squeaky noses on the end.
Oh,
people kept on throwing balls at him to go into buckets.
Yes,
yes.
I love that show. I used to watch the crap out of that. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. But that's when I lived in Georgia. So
anytime I think of clowns like that, I just think of Gacy. That dude sucked.
Well,
Bozo was cool. Bozo was fun.
Bozo was awesome.
I loved Bozo. Bozo and Ronald, the original Ronald McDonald. The 90s commercials. Those were the two best clowns growing up. When people say they were scared of clowns, I'm like, but we had the two best clowns in the world.
Right?
Who was scared of Ronald McDonald? He was great. He would come to your birthday party. What are you talking about?
And he'd give you cheeseburgers. Who doesn't want that?
Little bags of cookies and you got a milkshake. Come on.
You should be scared. What you should be scared of is the Hamburglar or the Grimace.
Oh no, Grimace is Grimace is nightmare now. Like he is a legit comeback.
Nightmare. He is
the whole milkshake thing.
He lives with official Joey C. So
I mean, that one's the best one.
He's made cameos.
I've seen the eyes
He's made
on that
cameos
statue
in our episodes. So
my 6-year-old knows who he is because of the Grimace Shake YouTube videos.
Oh God, those freaking videos, dude.
Oh,
very creative, but they were funny. So
I just feel like as long as Joey C keeps his Grimace fed,
he'll be all
there
right.
will be no wrongs.
I'm telling you, moves.
Probably. It's like just slightly. Like looks like he's about a centimeter to the right. He definitely.
Or the eyeballs start shifting.
My God. The eyeballs are always the worst. They're always moving. So when Bannister gets there, the activity has stopped, and he's of course confused by the whole thing. But you don't know kind of what he is doing. So he asks like certain questions, like the table didn't get up and start spinning, the toilet seat didn't go up and down. No, but the bed did start levitating, and he's like, "Oh, okay, good." And of course, he has like that same line when he comes into like every house. Is like, I can't remember the exact line, but he just mentions some weird scientific term, and then people are supposed to be like, "Oh my god, really?" He charges him 400. He was going to charge them $450, but instead he's going to call it even if you just don't charge him for the fence. Even though Ray doesn't know that the other part of the fence is gone. I love though the entire time that Frank is doing his thing, Ray is just sitting there with a rag over his head, like, oh, whatever, dude. Fuck, whatever, Bannister, you fucking asshole. Like, shut up.
And then like how he just keeps on calling him like on the by his last name, like he he knows who he is, and he's got like this back history, but he's like literally just met the guy.
Yeah. But the last thing and then he has like this boombox thing that like cooks a bag. It looks like Lindt chocolates coming out of here. It's like, here, you want to keep this as like a souvenir? No, okay, we'll just put it down the garbage disposal. It's like, don't worry, they don't feel a thing. But then the last thing he notices is that Ray has a number on his forehead, 37, and Bannister is very confused. But he ends up leaving. The last thing though, he has the holy water gun, which is. I love when he takes it out. She's like, "Oh, what?" She's like, "Holy water."
Dude, it just made me think of Clerks. 37. Did you hear that? My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks in a row. Yeah, on your way out here, make sure you don't suck any dicks on the way out of the car. The guy walks off. Get back here. I fucking love that movie. I don't know why it didn't hit me till now. I fucking good lord.
But then we get another ghost wall effect, where as they leave, it comes out of their wall. This is when you find out that Frank has ghosts working for him. What he does is he sends them into a house to cause all this activity, and then he goes in and exorcises the ghosts, and then he gets paid for it. So he's a con man. He's a paranormal con man. I do love when they get back because he's giving them shit because they stopped like making things happen. Like there was nothing going on when he got there. He's like, guys, you almost fucked it up type thing. And like what? He lets them out of the trunk. That's where they stay because he doesn't want that the ectoplasm all over his leather seats. He's like, it's a piece of shit VW. Yes. Fuck out of here. Or a Volvo, I think was he driving? Yeah. And then the one guy comes out and he's like gonna barf and it like comes out of his ears.
I was like, is that how it works? Apparently.
But
yeah, there's some of this like ghost stuff, like the physics of being a ghost. It's a lot of things just don't make any sense, and they don't take any time to explain half of the stuff that's happening. It's almost like they're just making it up as the movie goes along. Like, all right, this scene's cool. Well, how's he do it? Doesn't matter. Just throw it in it. That's cool.
Like they come back and Frank shuts the door on the other guy, and he like gets stuck in the door. And I'm like, why does he get stuck in the door? Like, what?
Because he's too tight. He's too uptight or whatever. Oh. Loosen up. And as he's pulling him through the door and stuff, and it's so weird because it's just like, okay, they can touch things, but then they can't touch things. And then they're constantly oozing that ectoplasm because their face is constantly looking different. Every scene, like almost their face looks not the same. You know what I mean? And it's all the characters throughout the entire movie. It's very weird. I don't know. It draws a lot of questions that I don't get any answers to.
Yes.
Yeah, you get to see that kind of transformation with Ray when you see him later. But my favorite thing is when the one guy, God, I can't remember those two ghosts' names.
Cyrus and then the other one. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Cyrus and Stewart. So Cyrus, he's giving Frank shit, and he's just like, I'm gonna form my own coalition. He's like pretty much gonna start like a march or like a whole thing, and it's like the AAAC. It's like the African American Apparition Coalition.
Yes, brilliant, dude.
I love it.
I was like, why don't you give me a cigar? He's like, you can't even use it. He's like, you could just puff it. You could just blow it in my face. He's like, and then also he was just like, yeah, you die. Like he wanted he wanted something. He's like, dude, you've been dead since the 70s. Like you
Change different clothes. He was
different.
Yeah, all right, yeah. He's like, there's nothing I can do about that. But yeah, you find out that Frank lives in this like half-built house. He lives with these two ghosts, and then you find out there's another ghost named he's Judge. He comes in guns blazing and I love how Frank reacts to this. Like, if he gets hit with one of these bullets, he'll die. Like, he's like, everybody dive out of the way. Like, is this gonna hurt you? This ghost shooting off his revolvers? Like,
once again, like questions we have no answers to whatsoever.
It hurts ghosts. It hurts other ghosts, but this is a scene where he's shooting in a room full of humans and nothing happens. So I assume no.
But even the ghost is like, he's gonna kill me. It's like, aren't you already
the
dead?
effect where it like hits his cheek and like the blood
and he like
coming out and stuff.
Yeah.
And I watched the director's cut, and there was extra 13 minutes of movie, and there's still like nothing really explained in it in any detail.
I'm kind of curious what's extra.
Yeah, Logan, you'll have to let us know if I miss it, because I watched the version that's on Peacock right now, and it didn't say director's cut.
I watched Tubi.
So it was only an hour and 49 minutes. So do you know how long?
Let's see. I think I had it here. Hold on a second. It's the hour and 49 minutes. So the director's cut is hour and 23 minutes. So it's 123 minutes. So what is that in hours?
2 hours and 3 minutes. So yeah,
yeah.
So it's about okay. So yeah, I watched the original cut. So yeah, I didn't even know to be honest, I didn't even know there was a director's cut. Interesting. Yeah, because this was a movie that Peter Jackson wanted it to be PG-13, but Universal wanted to push the R. And so
that's weird.
And he went back because when he originally set the movie in, they rated it R, and he was like, okay, well, I'm going to cut a bunch of stuff to get it down to the PG-13 rating. And I guess when he submitted it, they're like, no, it's still going to stay the R. And so he just went back and he just put everything back in. He's like, fuck it. If it's going to be rated R, I'm just going to make sure everything I want's back in there. Like, what's the point of cutting everything? So yeah, you also see the ghost dog, which never shows back up again. He's like chewing on Judge's jawbone. Again, Judge's effects are great. I love like the fact that like you can clearly see his jaws just hanging there, but he's still able to talk, and he's got like that overbite, and he's talking to Frank about how it's like, this is the end. This is the end for me. Like, I've run dry. My ectoplasm is run dry. Just think.
Don't tell the others because they look up to me, but my ectoplasm's run dry.
This is the third movie during this Ghost Month where we would talk about a movie that mentions ectoplasm.
Yep, that's correct.
Yep.
But you don't see it.
You do. It's the stuff that's oozing out of them.
I didn't notice it. Like outside their faces, like being wet a little bit. Like I don't see it on things.
No. Yeah. I don't think you actually they leave any behind. It's all just them. It's just on them.
Because see, that's what Michael J. Fox's character, like Frank's, like talking about it all the time. Like I don't see it. Like it's just maybe there was an idea to make it more prominent, and just like fuck it.
But yeah, I guess Judge is like one of his best like guys to do this job, even though you never see him actually do a job. It's always the other two guys. So it's like, okay, whatever.
Yep.
So this is when the two other ghosts, they go to set up another job in this like really fancy house, and it's a woman is like, you have a nanny watching the babies, or a housekeeper watching these babies, and of course like the parent who's like, I love you guys, but doesn't make contact with her own children. Love you, kisses, and then walks out of the room. And then they of course cause the babies to like fly around the room. One of the babies, I guess, is Peter Jackson's actual kid.
Nice.
But yeah, it's funny because like Frank gets a call, he goes in and does his whole spiel to get the kind of the person to understand what he's going to be doing. But it doesn't go well because the press wrote an article about him, about how he is a con man. And he then has to talk to Magda once again to pretty much be like, what the fuck? Like I got a business here. Like you're fucking with my business. And
but here's the thing though, is that old lady, the lady saw those babies flying. So you're like, oh, so what explains that?
That is true. I didn't.
That's
think
what
of that.
when I see that, it's like, your baby flew across the room. What explains? So you're just like I don't understand. Like that would mean when I read that, I'd be like, oh, he's not a con man because I just saw my baby fly from one room to the other.
Like I gotta call the Gazette right now and be like, this is legit. Like there's something crazy. Like because no one knows. Like people know he's a con man, but like they don't know about the ghosts, that he's using ghosts to do these things. Like no one knows that.
Yeah.
Weird. As he leaves the Gazette, he runs into PeterJackson. And he's wearing a shirt with the Grim Reaper on it.
Yep.
Foreshadowing.
He's got a lot of piercings for some reason.
He sure does.
A lot.
And this is when you find out that Ray died. R.I.P. Because pretty much Frank gets hit by the hearse. And he's like, he looks into the window and he sees Lucy in the car and he's like, oh shit. And then he starts to walk away and he sees Ray running down the street and he runs into Frank. And, he's confused. He doesn't know what's going on. Why am I dead? I'm the healthiest I've ever been in my life. I work out every day. I do all this, that, and the other. And Frank's like, hey, shit happens, man. And have you seen the light yet? And he's just like, what light? A light to get to the other side. He's like, I'm not accepting this. So he pretty much has Ray bring him to the cemetery, which again, is something else that doesn't make any sense. Why can't Ray do anything? Like Ray needs help to get out of the grave. Ray needs a ride to the cemetery. Like, what?
Just a useless piece of shit, dude.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, once we get to see once he watches the people speak at his funeral, because he really wants to see what people think about him, it didn't seem like anyone really thought anything highly of him.
No.
There's literally that one guy. I mean, you could talk about it, Parker, but that one dude who just it was like a half-assed, somewhat compliment, if you want to call it that.
He's like, I know somewhere deep down Ray had some sort of heart and he cared for things. And I just love.
He might not have showed it.
Yeah. I don't love Ray's like, so true. He would never lie about that.
Yeah.
During this scene, Frank's house is on fire because this was actually shot at the end of the movie. Pretty much, it was one of the last things to be shot. So the house Frank's house was built for this movie, and so they ended up burning it down, and you can actually see it from the shot.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
That's handy.
Yeah.
Oh, that smoke?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember seeing the smoke. I just thought it was just like a chimney or something like that. But yeah, okay,
that's what I thought when I watched the movie, and then I read it as a fact and went, "Oh, cool." But yeah, you get this whole thing where, I do like when Ray falls into his own grave and comes face to face with his dead body in the casket. But then he pokes out and he's like, "Frank, get me out of here, Frank!" And he's like getting buried. He's like, "They're about to bury me alive," and I'm like, "You're a ghost. Get out!"
We're dead. Sorry, we're dead.
Oh, before though they get to the funeral, this is when we see Arlie Ermy for the first time. He just comes out and he's just berating him. He's pretty much like, I'm guessing he runs the cemetery, but he's just, being his drill sergeant self, being an ass, and pretty much just waiting for Frank to join him. This is where we get the name of the movie, because he says, "You're using your spooks to put Frighteners on people." And I went, "Hey, name of the movie."
He said the thing. He said the thing.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah.
It's a Leonardo DiCaprio thing from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yep.
Include meme.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Walt the cop shows up. He questions Frank about Ray because he finds out that he was like the last one to see Ray other than his wife. And really nothing goes with this. Nothing goes any further. Also, he tells him about how how Ray died, and it's just like, yeah, these like healthy people. It's just like, it feels like they're pretty much, their hearts are just being squeezed, like till they die. And then also we get the whole thing with Lucy, where she asks like, is Ray here? Can he see me? What is he saying? And he's like, "Oh, I miss you," and all that stuff. And she gets annoyed at first, though, before he even says anything, because he doesn't say anything to her at first. And she's like, "You must think I'm crazy or something." And he's like, "I just don't want to be involved." But then after he tells her what Ray said, they meet up at this restaurant. Is this like a medieval times place? Like
It was Excalibur or whatever it was called.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
I don't know. It's like medieval times without the show.
Yeah.
People are just dressed up. That's it.
Jim Carrey's in the next room, putting meat on his face.
Hello, Clarice.
Silence of the Lambs.
Matthew Broderick shows up and starts dancing to Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Please, I need that.
So yeah, they meet up so that he can communicate with her, because Ray joins and pretty much talking, and then she asks about money that he took and invested in some bad shit, and it's all gone. And then turns everything sour for Ray. It doesn't go great for Ray because then
he's like, don't tell her.
He immediately
give me a second. Let me think of something. And Michael J. Fox is like, I don't give a fuck.
You son of a bitch. And then he calls her a bitch because she pretty much is like, yep, seems like that's typical Ray for you. And he leaves. You find out that an accident caused pretty much Frank's abilities to be able to see and talk to ghosts. That's kind of all you get, though. You don't get the whole detail until later. You get the wine spill. Ray spills the wine before he leaves. And then that's when Frank goes into the bathroom and he's, cleaning himself up. And another guy walks in. Then he sees something is going on like around the room, like something's in the wall. But Frank is the only one who can see this. So he's being, weird, and the guy's getting creeped out. So he's like over there washing his hands. But then I love this when the Reaper just comes out of the mirror and just grabs the dude's heart and kills him.
Yeah, because he sees the number on his forehead.
Yeah. He's like, oh,
yep, he does. 38.
Yep, 38.
38 dicks.
38.
And
we don't know what the number references. Just saying. Not at this point.
This is when we see the light that shows up after someone dies, pretty much to send them to heaven, I'm guessing. And I love it. The guy's like, Mom! Bye!
It's when you play Galaga and you get the one ship that... Yeah.
Capture ship. So it's aliens.
Yeah.
And they're stealing your soul.
Yeah. Oh,
it's like time to load you somewhere else in the simulation. Just pull you up.
Yep.
I don't know. I just love... I feel like the movements of the Reaper are super creepy. Like just kind of janky, weird, like it's not very smooth. Like when he comes out of that mirror, I was like, damn, that's good. And
you talked about the effects for some of the other stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, people's like, oh, this looks low budget, looks like crap, but it just adds to the aesthetic of the film. It just feels like it fits.
Well, back then it didn't look like crap. That's the thing. If you went back to time to 1996, this does not look like crap.
No,
it's just weird. Like people that like refined it, or like they're like they just don't understand. Like it's kind of like like my son will never understand sitting down watching TV with 5 minutes of commercials. He won't understand that because he's never lived with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like for people like to not understand, like, oh, you mean I just can't watch any show that I want at any time? No, you had to wait at a certain time to watch it. Same thing. People are like, this looks like shit. Like, no, back then it did not look like shit.
Yeah, now turn to the TV Guide channel so we can find something else.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. We have a 16-year-old.
Oh crap! I missed it. I gotta wait till USA pops back up again. Son of a bitch.
It's one of those things you have to explain to your teenagers because they don't get that part.
No.
And it's like, dude, when I was your age, there was a lot of waiting.
Back in my day.
Yes. I don't talk about the walking however many miles uphill in the snow.
Ours is going to be
don't you love those stories? You're like, get the fuck out of here.
That's what my parents always said. And it's like, no, it's waiting for the TV Guide channel to flop around to whichever show you want to watch.
Or actually calling people at a home phone and talking to someone that's not the person you meaning to call. Like kids couldn't do that these days. Kids could not do what if you call like I want you to call your friend, but then their dad's going to pick up and you're like, I'm not doing that.
But you have to wait until after a certain time so you get free minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you go to like, I'm gonna use the phone, but somebody else is on the other line. Like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
Or trying to get on the internet.
Yeah,
Like, hang up
choosing
the
when you can be on the
phone!
internet. Yeah.
And
Oh, the
dial
good
it
old
down.
days.
The sound. That still triggers me.
man.
I love it.
I love it.
Takes me back.
Yep. I wish we could
Yep.
go back.
They don't understand.
I had to work a lot harder for your jerk fodder, but it was there.
Dude.
Yeah, but it was
I didn't have to deal with near as many people now then as I do now. Like,
social media didn't exist, and
nope.
We had bush pornography.
not like female bush, right? Like you found it in a bush.
No, yes, yeah,
In the
both.
woods. In the woods.
Because it's usually you found it in a bush, and like people think I'm joking, but this is 100% a thing that happened.
It's from like the 80s.
We found it in a bush, and it's always like 70s, vintage 70s,
Yeah.
like rolled up.
I found
like,
it in a
formatting.
camper in the woods. An abandoned camper in the woods.
See, mine was my uncle's. We found it in a bush once, and then it was an abandoned barn, like catty corner of the property, and then the house that I broke into with the phantom dick in the window.
The dude.
That was
Random
porn
dude.
there, and then then like they said, my uncle's bathroom is just like on the top shelf.
He just didn't hide it. It was like, that's there.
But see, then I had to
Okay.
find it in hidden folders.
Yeah, we used to hide it in folders. Now we just got the internet. We don't save nothing.
Taxes.
I report that.
No one else will look there. Nobody else cares
Exactly.
about.
But then you like taxes. This has got to be where it's at. You open it up and it's actually just taxes. Like fuck.
Yeah, but not when you're
That
like
has nothing to do
13. You're like 13 years old, and you're like, why does he have a taxes folder? That doesn't make any sense. We'll see what's. Oh no!
I have a floppy disk drive, a floppy
is
drive,
not
3.5 inch
taxes.
disc between my mattresses. That's got screenshots of nuderaider.com because that's all we had, baby.
Wait, is it the 3.5?
3.5, not the
Or
5.
Oh,
Yeah, not the 5 1/4
see,
or whatever.
you didn't.
No, I use those too. I remember slapping those bitches in the Apple too. Like, I'm going to play Numbers Munchers. Ding, 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 ding.
I had Fredericks of Hollywood magazines. If you know what those. So it's basically the more risque Victoria's Secret. Let's just say it was Victoria's
Oh.
Secret for not pencil thin women and like that actually had curves and or more busty.
It's fair.
Listen,
Yeah, that's what
ladies were more my size before it was not popular. Just saying.
I mean, I guess.
Look at what Marilyn Monroe
I know,
size
I understand.
was.
I get it.
She was more of the
Yeah, I understand. I get
My
it.
size.
She looked like she ate food. I got it.
yeah, literally.
There's nothing wrong with that. I enjoy food. And I think other people
Anywho.
should too.
All right, and we move on.
You don't look like you eat food. You're skinny.
I like food.
The effects were
Can't
good.
help it.
Yes, the
curves.
Go
effects,
Park.
I think that movie's
the effects are
thinner.
great in this
Speaking of-
movie. But yeah, Frank leaves because he's terrified. He leaves. Well, actually, I think he's more of he's chasing the Reaper. Like he goes outside and he sees us on the roof, and then it leaves. Lucy is then brought in to the police station. This is where we get the cameo from Melanie Linsky as the cop bringing her in. So Frank and his crew, they chase the Reaper, and this is when we're back at the police station and we meet Milton Dammers, played by Jeffrey Combs. And he works for the FBI, and he is odd, to say the least. He asks her weird questions about Frank, and she starts to yell, and he does not like women yelling, and he's like gagging and goes into the bathroom, and he's just overall, he's like, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go check on him. And he's like, what the hell is going
This
on
character made no sense to me when I was little.
here? He still
This-
makes no
like,
sense.
Like literally, like
it
what?
still does not make sense.
Like it's
Just
the,
Jeffrey
yeah.
Combs, man.
when they explain him when he takes his shirt off at the end of the movie and you see everything and they go into he goes in his detail. I'm like my 8-year-old self was just like, why is he taking? What's wrong with his body? And then I haven't seen this movie in a long time, and I was waiting for that scene. I was like, okay, now I want to figure out what the fuck happened in that scene. So I was waiting for the entire movie just for that scene. I'm like, I still don't understand what's going on.
So
I get it, but I'm like, I don't get it.
he mentions that he worked alongside like cults and like Satanists and like other like groups like that. And so, and I guess he went a little too deep, and that's kind of why he's the way he is. But that's it. That's kind of all you get. Like, I mean,
Yeah, he's just like fucked in the head for all
Yeah,
the
he's
all
just-
the different cults and stuff.
because he's like weird. He like doesn't come in the room. He asks her really odd questions. He doesn't like women screaming at him. The whole thing where like Walt comes in, he like touches him. Get out of my territorial bubble.
Yeah.
And I guess he's been in like he does like paranormal psychology. He's been in it for like 20 years. And this is when you get like the full story behind Frank. I guess he was in the middle of building a house, and his wife wanted one thing, and he ended up building like a basketball court, and they got into a fight, and they were like driving down a road, and something happened where they crashed, and then she died. That's kind of it.
And the box cutter.
There was the box cutter from his car went missing, and his wife had the number 13 carved into her forehead. And so that's when you get the connection. Is like, oh, okay, so that's when I first picked up on it. Like, oh, so she's got to be involved in what's going on, like during like with the where Frank is seeing the numbers on people's heads. Like, okay, so it's some sort of connection. So yeah, they're continuing to chase the Reaper, and they see the heaven light, as I'll call it, at the museum. So they go to the museum, and it's the dude from the Gazette that was talking to Magda earlier. I guess he was his number was up. So a shootout happens because Judge shows up, just starts shooting. Just starts going crazy. And you get this. I actually like this scene a lot. Also, why? What did Frank do where these cops are just unloading on him in this museum?
I know, right?
It's very irresponsible.
They have so much ammo too that they never reload throughout this entire gunfight.
Yeah, actually, oddly, I wasn't paying attention to it this time,
which is surprising.
Really weird. It really bothered, like ammo count. Like they look like they had Glocks to me. So it's because depending on the size of the magazine, it's 15 to 17. It's probably
that is what I get.
One in the chamber.
If it's not a car movie, it's a gun movie. And he's like, they should have reloaded by now.
It
fucking bothers me. I'm sorry, dude. We don't just have like unlimited cylinders.
You should see The King of New York. Have you seen The King of New York?
No.
With Christopher Walken and I think Lawrence Fishburne. That movie, there's a gunfight scene that goes on for like 8 minutes. Not one person reloads through the entire gunfight. It is ridiculous. No, I'm being serious. It is ridiculous. It's like endless ammo. It is ridiculous.
I wish we had that. It just goes. I just wish I had a gun that I never needed to clean or ever needed to reload.
What you want is a laser blaster. That's what you want.
Right here.
Fire at least 45 shots with their automatic pistols without reloading.
During the museum fire.
Okay, cool.
Wild.
They're very irresponsible
with
with
those
those relics and preserved cats as well. I just want to point that out.
I was like, oh no, why are they shooting them? Like, no, don't do that. But whatever.
So yeah, after all this, Judge gets horny and hops into a sarcophagus and fucks a mummy. I love how we get a mummy here. We just had a whole month of it. Why not? And then the worst of it is he comes out and goes, I like it when they lie still like that. And I went, what the fuck is happening right now? This is so out of left field.
It's not necrophilia, but it's still non-consensual.
I'm just like, what? Huh? This is the completely different. I mean, I understand. At first, Judge literally walks into this museum and goes, my juices are flowing. And I went, oh my God.
That's Beetlejuice fodder right there.
Holy shit. But yeah, Frank ends up taking Magda and they leave. And the Reaper chases them because Magda has a number on her forehead. And I do love when the Reaper gets on top of the car and like puts the scythe through the car, and it's like underneath his chin, and he's trying to drive. And he ends up crashing pretty much in the same exact spot. I guess he crashed with his wife. And
because why not?
The Gazette lady dies, and then when her ghost comes out, she just fucking berates Frank. It's all your fault, you bastard! She's floating away.
Yeah, and then also he throws shade at it. Don't you feel good about killing your wife? So when I was little and I saw this, I'm like, he was married to her? So I was like, so did he marry her after his wife died? I didn't like. My little mind couldn't comprehend like she's just being a bitch.
Yeah.
You know.
Like it all
So
makes
like
sense.
rewatching this movie, I'm like, oh, so they weren't married. Okay.
Yeah, they just knew. They weren't together
I
at
should
all.
fucking sucks, dude.
That's why I love watching movies that I wasn't supposed to watch as a kid, because I watched The Mask.
Oh, that one's pretty rough.
Yeah, my mom gave me
Yeah.
permission to watch it because the lady that I was staying with had to call her and was like, hey, is it okay if she watches this? And mom was like, okay. She didn't know anything about it. So then watching it as I got older, I was like, damn, I should not have been watching this as a kid.
I remember when I found out I shouldn't have been watching it. So my parents were pretty cool. Like they were pretty relaxed. Like I could watch R-rated films as long as there wasn't like titties in it. That was pretty much their thing.
Yeah.
And I was a scaredy cat, so I didn't really like horror movies. So I didn't have to really worry about running into that unless I watched like an action film or something like that that might have been rated R, that might have had boobies in it. But 9 times out of 10, I didn't run into those films. So they would just let me watch like Low Down Dirty Shane or something like that. Like just like a raunchy, like Eddie Murphy style, like with a vulgarness, but also action. So I could watch stuff like that. So I watched The Mask, and I didn't realize that I shouldn't be watching The Mask until I brought it to daycare because I rented it. And I was in daycare for like kindergarten. So I rented it and I brought it to, her name was Miss Holly. So I brought it to Miss Holly's house and I was like, can we watch this? And she looked at it, she goes, absolutely not. I'm like,
I feel
well,
so old
my mom will let me
still.
watch it.
That is hilarious.
That's great.
I watched The Mask, and I was in grade school when we watched it.
Yeah, that's about when it came out.
I
Yeah.
know, but I feel so old when people are like, I was in kindergarten, grade or preschool when we watched this.
It's not that, but it's not that big because grade school versus kindergarten, that's just,
No.
like 4-year difference, really. 5, I guess. Depends on.
Came out in 94, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I've been 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's that one scene, if you go back and remember, there's one scene, that dude is just full of bullet holes and blood's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
That's all right.
you know what I mean? That's like,
I deserved it.
you can take some of that stuff out. Like I know, like if you watch, like they can definitely edit it to make it like more kid friendly because it was Jim Carrey. It was, it was almost like you were making it for the kids. You know what I mean? Kind of because he was the guy at the time, but yet it was very adult.
I also watched 13 Ghosts in theater.
Did you?
If that tells you how old I am.
That one's got titties, so I couldn't watch that one.
It has some.
I watched it with
lots
my
of
brother and
titties.
sister-in-law. Like, I got permission from them to watch it. So
Some titties.
I love that movie.
We were
Look at
so
some-
close. We were so close to having that be this episode, but Frighteners won. Patreon.
Way to go,
thanks.
patron.
I
job,
know. I
Patreon.
love
Just
that.
kidding.
It'll
We're
get
gonna have
covered
to
at some point.
Cover that at some point.
No, just-
Same director as Ghost
Love
Ship.
that movie. And that was both my picks.
Mhm.
Fuck.
So
I didn't vote. I don't vote in those, so it's
I
not my
did.
fault.
so I get the whole thing at the police station where they're looking for Frank, and Dammers is like, he won't show up. He's gonna go hide somewhere or do something. He's probably long gone by now, and he's just behind him walking in. Just shows that this
That
guy's
seems
just a
great. That
fool,
seems
dude.
great.
Oh man, and then you get the whole thing where he gets arrested and he's getting brought in, and of course Lucy's trying to stand up for him, and he's just like, you don't know me, just go away, just leave me alone. So this is when you see like this whole different character from Dammers, where he's like this like tough guy. He's trying to be tough, and he's questioning Frank, and Frank is not really saying anything, and he's so Dammers thinks that Frank is killed 28 people, and that he's done it all with his mind, because he's literally sitting there at the table shaking and like doing something, and Dammers is like, are you doing it right now? Are you doing it? And he's like, you can't affect me. And he just whips off his jacket. He's like, I have a lead breastplate. And I went, what is this? What is this character, man?
Which also doesn't make sense because in this instance, you make it think that he wants to believe, right? Of what like he wants to believe this, but then you get to the end of the movie where it's like he doesn't believe, and he's like, well, this whole movie you thought that he was doing this, and now like when he releases the ashes, he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, when do you can get through your head that it's just psychoanalytic of you dealing with X, Y, and Z?" It's like, but there's this whole movie you've been riding this guy's dick that he's got psychic powers.
Yep.
Again, who is this guy? Why is he here?
Jeffrey Combs does a great job.
Oh, I love him.
Fucking
No,
nails
No,
it.
yeah, you definitely. He is a character in this movie, 100%.
I mean, he got this role because of Reanimator. Peter Jackson loves Reanimator. So.
Oh, he's
Fuck
an
yeah,
asshole.
it's
He's
a
an
great
asshole
movie.
in that one too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he is.
So
To be honest, I
though.
think Herbert West is worse than this guy.
Yeah, this dude's just fucking weird.
This guy, because Herbert West was smart as fuck, and he just was could manipulate people, and he was just evil. And this guy is kind of an idiot if you think about it. Like just the way he acts and some of the things he does, like you're kind of dumb, dude. Like the hell, like what is happening? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So Lucy visits Bannister's house. This is when you get like the basketball hoop, and of course Roy's there, or Ray, or is it Ray? It's Ray, right? He's there too, and you can note this is when you see like as the longer their ghosts, the more ectoplasm they start oozing because his face is just covered in it now. But he's also just wandering around. I was like, this place is a piece of junk. What a loser! And I'm like, all right, Ray.
And you can see that he turned the basketball court. It's a flower bed now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Great.
actually the garden that she wanted.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then she gets it, but he's a dumb fuck, and he's what a waste of a basketball court.
Yeah. But when she's there, she gets a call there is a call from Mrs. Bradley, pretty much talking about Patricia, and there's things going on that he needs to get there. So that's when she rushes over to the Bradley house, and Ray can see that the house is evil because it's just like it looks like it's melting and like it's like moving around. And I love when he's scared, his face also changes, like it like elongates and stuff like that. So she goes in there. She gets with Patricia. Patricia brings her upstairs and shows her that she has Johnny's ashes. And you also find out that her dad ended himself right after the trial.
Well, she says it's her dad's ashes. Initially, they don't realize whose they are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
like,
she wipes the name off.
Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought like you were just to assume that those were Johnny's because she was an accomplice to these killings.
Yeah. Yeah, she said her mom, she said, what's my dad's ashes? My mom makes me keep it in my room because he died or whatever because of the shit that I did. Right. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. All right, cool. Because in my notes, it's like, Patricia has Bradley's ashes. Well, never mind. I mean, technically it is, but they have to hide out in her mom's room, and this is when Lucy finds the knife. And she thinks that the mom took the knife, which technically I guess she did. Did Patricia hide the knife in here to kind of throw it off?
I believe that's the case.
Yeah, she probably I'm assuming like saved it as like a keepsake or whatever. But the only thing is like, then how did she do that? She was at that hospital. You know what I'm saying? Because she gets admitted to the hospital. It's kind of weird because, well, I guess it really just depends on how long has his wife been dead. I forgot that part.
I don't know. Was there a time frame? Did they
6 years?
How long?
Because she got out of the hospital in 5 years, so maybe it was around as soon as she got out of the hospital. That's when they went and started this, events or whatever.
Right.
Fuck, I blanked.
Because what they say, it said 4 years, 30 bodies.
Yeah, but he says he went back to 1985, and all the heart issues started.
Yeah,
in 90,
Johnny
when his
Johnny
wife died.
Yeah.
When Frank's wife died.
Yeah.
So things start happening in the house. Lucy gets attacked. Or no, she doesn't get attacked, but you see that the urn opens and like something's coming out of it. And then you get the ghost wall effect again as Lucy is leaving. And for some reason she leaves, but like Ray goes into the house. She's like, leave.
Yeah.
There's evil in here. And then he gets his face ripped off, and we don't see him again. Bye, Ray.
Yeah, I guess he's dead because when he throws his dead body. Oh, maybe y'all didn't see that. Did you see his dead body be thrown on her car as she drove?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know if that was in the director's cut or not.
Well, there was that, and then I forgot to mention the fact that Judge gets cut in half in the museum, and then you never see him again. I guess there were more shots for Judge throughout the rest of the movie, but they just decided not to go with it. So that was kind of the end for him.
Yeah, apparently, like the only thing that I said, I didn't watch both. I was like, oh, director's cut. Let me just put this one on, because I have the 15th anniversary Blu-ray or whatever. I do know that because there's an introduction what PeterJackson gives you before you start the movie, and he just explains that this is his original director's cut, and it has 13 extra minutes, and it was mainly backstory of individual characters, just so things make a little bit more sense about each individual ghost and so forth. Now, I didn't, like I said, as far as what those 13 minutes are, I have no freaking idea.
Yeah,
I saw them, but I don't know what they are.
I mean, usually when we cover movies that have director's cuts, usually one of us will watch the director's cut and the other will watch the theatrical cuts. But I, to be honest, didn't even know this had a director's cut. And
yeah, I didn't know it either.
I don't have this. I don't have this on physical media, so I found it on Peacock, and so I just watched whatever version was there. And usually it'll tell you if it's a director's cut, and this one didn't say.
Yeah,
it, so.
I will say I've noticed with a lot of companies, unfortunately, if there's a director's cut or if there's a extended version, a lot of these streaming services don't play that one 9 times out of 10.
Tubi
My
does.
Bloody Valentine. Tubi does, because Tubi seems to be like for example, they got
Nightbreed's director cut, but Peacock has it the regular version. That's what I noticed.
Like Haunted Ween, they have the re-scan version, the actually good quality version, not their crappy DVD version that's been around for forever. What's called, they actually have the nice version on Tubi on free app. But when I used to have a Max subscription, I'd watch My Bloody Valentine, and it's not the director's cut, so all the gore and kill scenes are taken out of it, and it's but you're Max. Why are you not giving us the director's cut?
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
That happened to us because Dan and Angela watched that version, and I watched whatever. I can't remember where. I think it was Shudder had it or something, and it was the regular, where they cut away from the violence for My Bloody Valentine, because we covered it early this season. But now I have the Scream Factory Blu-ray, so I can. Sometimes I can't get movies in time when we go to cover an episode, so it's usually after the fact. I'm like, oh man, I wish I had this before we did the episode. So.
Well, that's even for example, if you watch Friday Part 2 on Max, which they have, it's not going to be the extended version that's on the Shout Factory Blu-ray. But the thing is, people have the access to that. It's not like it's been it's not like an exclusive right. They have that. If you have access to the rights to the Paramount film itself, you have access to that version. But the streamer service that you're paying crap load of money for some reason don't give a shit, and they only give you this one version. And sometimes you think you're working with this, you're going to Max and you're thinking you're getting there's a 4K version of this film, but you're still watching they're only giving you an HD version, which makes no sense. If there's a 4K vol version, they should update and give you the 4K version. It doesn't make sense.
As of right now, when we're recording, I think from what I have seen, all of the Friday the 13th movies except for the remake were taken off the Max. Oh,
they were? Okay.
I guess so. I went to go look for one, and they weren't there. I just saw the remake, and I was like, oh, okay. That's why physical media is great, guys.
Yeah.
Listen, I have streaming services. I watch a lot of stuff on streaming, but I will always advocate for physical media because money. That is kind of the reason why I do both, because money. Yeah. Blu-rays can get expensive, but...
Oh, 100%. And sometimes it could be a film that's not like nothing against, like, I love this movie Blowout. It's like it's a really good movie, but the only version that you can really find is the Criterion collection of it. And it's like, I don't want to buy that one. I just want to buy like a $15 Blu-ray version of it. I don't need this special edition version of it. I just want it so I can watch it when they ever decide to take it off of Tubi.
Oh, the John Travolta movie?
Yeah, it's a great movie. If you haven't
absolutely.
seen it. Brian De Palma. Great.
I actually talked about it on another podcast.
It's awesome movie.
With, I can't remember what other, The Fury? No, that was a different episode.
The Fury, yeah.
But yeah,
Fury was another Brian De Palma movie.
Yeah,
too, as well.
I've done a couple shows over with our friend Antonio from the Cult Worthy, where we talked about Brian De Palma movies. We did Carrie and The Fury, and then it was Blowout, and
was it Body Double?
No, it was one that had Uncle Ben from Spider-Man in it. It was from the late 70s. Can't remember the name. I'm blanking right now. I didn't like it. Let's just say that. I was not a fan. But no, yeah. Great. Blowout. Really like that movie. So Lucy visits Frank. And of course he's like sad and doesn't want to talk to her. And then when he kind of comes to, he sees that Lucy has a number. And as soon as he finds out she has a number, the Reaper shows up and starts to attack. And that's when his friend, the ghost friends, show up and they're fighting him. And so the thing is like Ray gets attacked by the Reaper in the house, right? And then you see his body get flung out, and then you never see him again in this movie. What's his name? The Stewart, the guy with the ghost with the glasses. He gets attacked, and like his soul is like ripped out of him. But then you see him later. Yep. He's like, all right, sure. Is it because they went to heaven? Because you don't see him as ghosts anymore. I guess that makes sense, right?
Yeah, I think that's what the understanding was, like, because that's the thing is these are people that that didn't go towards the light, and eventually their time will come when they'll go back up there. And I believe that was my understanding. It's like, okay, so even after a ghost is killed, it's just a ghost. You know what I mean? They're still in that like purgatory state before they go to their final resting place.
Yeah.
So yeah, Stewart's gone. R.I.P. again. Frank and Lucy escape, and this again, Dammers is here being whatever he is, and he gets an extinguisher to the face, and he just turns into a cartoon character. Like he's like waving his legs in the air. He's like, ah! Like flopping around on the ground. Oh man!
Is that where Frank like steps on it?
Yeah,
and
he
his
like
gun just shoots up.
Yeah,
and
he grabs it and it goes off.
Yeah.
This next scene though was very like we talked about way earlier in the episode of just like overdoing the acting, like overacting. This scene is Michael J. Fox overacting. They get to the alleyway, they escape. They're in the alleyway. He's got the gun. He's just like, oh my god. Oh, we're trapped. Like, I don't know how to stop him, Lucy. I don't know what to do. I can't save you. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, this is a different side of Frank here. Like, okay. He's like, I got to do an out-of-body experience. And he puts the gun up to his head, and he can't quite do it. And she comes up with an idea where she's gonna knock his ass out. Not really. She's going to drug him. She's going to put him in a freezer, and pretty much he's going to die for like 20 minutes. And
that's where she keeps all of her ex-husbands.
Yeah.
Rolls them up. There you go. They find it's the realization, like the whole time. It's just a bunch of bodies stacked up in there.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's
like, how does
Get Out?
How does a guy who's worked here not notice? Is he part of it? Like, what's happening?
Probably. Yeah. It's a body farm. Has to be.
But as the out of body experiment happens, Dammer shows up again. And you get the whole thing where she's like, I'm going to wake him up at 9:00. And he's like, why would you do that? And I'm like, what? Why? What's
your motivation sir?
Why are you so hell-bent on killing this guy? Like, pretty much you just want him dead now. I don't know why. Okay. Because he wants his power? I'm so confused.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because then he takes the whole point. He's like, I'm going to take you all the way to the cemetery. He's like, why? Why?
It's relaxing.
Like, once again, like, why? I don't I don't get this character.
The cozy
I'll get
place,
there.
as he says. But also, he just whips out an Uzi, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, he had the pistol, and he's just like Uzi time.
Yeah, upgrade.
Like, okay, sure.
I do love when Frank becomes a ghost, and he's like falling through the floors. He's like stumbling around and looking for Lucy. Then he starts flying, chasing after their car. But he also sees the Reaper, and they're like fighting, and they get to the cemetery. And Dammers is just like, just chilling there. Also, you get the whole thing where he like has to sit on a donut in the car. I'm like, Jeffrey Combs must have gotten full like freedom on this role, because there's just things that are just like, does that ever come back? Do we ever get any reason why he's doing this? Nope.
Is it because he was the sex slave? And I'm like, does that mean like when you say sex slave, they mean like, yeah, that's why you're sitting on a donut for 6 years. You're a sex slave.
I guess.
Isn't that he's got some vicious hemorrhoids?
Exactly.
Because you got to get the whole thing where he like reaches into his coat and you think he's gonna pull out like a gun or something. It's just like, no, it's a donut.
Which makes sense too when he's in the interrogating room. He goes to sit down, but just for a second, he gets right back up.
Yep.
So then it makes sense. Like then he pulls out the donut. It's like, okay. And I'm like, and that's the only thing I was thinking. I was like, all right, does that mean you took it up butt a lot during those 6 years while you were 6?
It's sensitive. He can't help it.
He's got used so much. He's got like a permanent prolapse.
Oh, Jesus. Oh,
yeah, there you go. It's just an inflatable he has to sit on.
So she
Parker's gonna dream about this tonight.
No, I don't want to dream about this.
Hey, you can't control him. I'm just saying.
I could keep drinking,
guys. They're so bad. He needs like Preparation Z. Stupid joke.
She again states that she has to wake him up at 9 o'clock, and he's like, "Oh, I'll wake him up in 11 hours." And I went, "What's in 11 hours?" Again, nothing happens with this. And then he gets out, and you get this weird scene where he's like unbuttoning his shirt, and then he reveals he's got like scars and tattoos on him for like all the shit that he went through with like going undercover. And he thinks that he has Frank's power because he's like talking about the mind and how he's going to do things with his mind. And then the car starts to move on its own because you find out Frank is like in control until he's not, because Arlie Ermey rips him out of the car and throws him into Ray's grave. Did you notice that was Ray's grave? Yep. But he's like, now he's decomposing more. He's got like worms coming out of him. But yeah, just where he's just like, is this me? Am I doing this? Oh, and he's like, oh no, wait! This is how he runs out of the car. And then, yeah, then the Reaper shows up, tries to attack Lucy again, and Frank shows up with Arlie Ermey's miniguns, because Arlie Ermey just gets sliced in half. He's gone. Bye.
Yeah.
And then, Frank uses those guns on him, and it like rips it to shreds, and it like turns into this weird goo, and then it turns into like a demon face. But then when he picks up the demon face and throws it up against the tombstone, it turns into Johnny Bartlett's face.
Which doesn't make sense.
To those big old Busey teeth. Like, hey, it's me, Johnny. He's like, I got a score of 40 now. So yeah,
he breaks through the door.
But he goes down there, and Frank has the scythe, and he's gonna end this once and for all. And right as he is about to do it, Lucy brings him back. Oh, awful! You're like, damn it!
Way to go, lady! Should have left him in the oven the freezer a little bit longer.
So this is when Lucy goes to the Bradleys, and this, we still get like, the mom is like questioning her on what's happening and talk about how it's got to get Patricia out of the house. And so then she runs up to go see her mom. And this is when Lucy's just like wandering around this house. For one, shut the damn front door. Like you run into somebody's house, you just leave the front door open. And then she walks in the living room and the window is wide open. There's like half of the leaves off the tree outside are now in your living room. It's awful. Stop it. And
It's rude.
this is when Patricia shows back up and she looks good. Weirdly good to me. I don't know. It was weird. But Dee Wallace was looking good in this scene. And she's just like, Mother said that it's time to go to the police. And she's just like, all right. And then she starts doing weird stuff because you then see Johnny's ghost show up and she's like rubbing his face and like doing weird things and things are happening. And that's when Lucy starts to kind of pick up the hint that something's going on. And I do love, though, that she can't see Johnny, but Johnny's like making all these comments like, oh, let me kill her right now. He's like, what is this one now? Is this what, 41? That's one more than Bundy. I can't wait to see Bundy's face when I go back there. And they're just getting really horny over the potential killing of Lucy because Johnny is like hard as a rock. Like,
oh, he's getting off.
I don't know if ghosts get boners, but he's got the biggest one. And
this is what rocks his socks.
Oh my!
Well, he has to because Judge did.
Oh yeah, he's fucking a mummy.
He's about to. He's about to slime somebody.
Yeah, that's right.
It's about to ooze all over.
It's gonna look like they're on Nickelodeon, dude. Like,
yeah, because they get like
the gack, baby.
They go into the kitchen and she's like, "That stupid pretentious bitch." He's just like, "Come on, baby, which one?" He's like knives on the wall. I'm like, God damn.
Like he turns into Ray from Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, this is when the shit just starts happening. The house becomes alive. Lucy finds the mom dead in her bedroom. You find out that the whole wall ghost that was attacking it's been Johnny the whole time. And you also find out that the urn is Johnny's ash. It was Johnny's ashes, not her dad's. Which I didn't realize that. But I thought we found out earlier, but whatever. But yeah, we get the whole attack scene. My favorite is when he becomes the painting of the dad and attacks her at the window. I really like that.
It's a good one.
But then Frank shows up and he's like, we got to get Johnny's ashes to a church. We got to get him to a holy place and it'll rid of his evil. So they go to the old hospital because there's a church there or a chapel. And Frank is like being teleported into the past, like seeing the events of that massacre. It's a whole thing where like, this is how he learns where the chapel is, but this is also where you see like the beginning of it where the doctor is just calling the orderly a moron. And I'm like, I mean, it doesn't justify him going on a killing spree, but maybe don't be an asshole.
That's fair.
Like, if you want to get somebody's attention, don't like be like, "Yo, orderly, you deaf or something? What are you, stupid moron?" I'm like, all right, this seems like a hostile work environment. Might have to report you.
Where is HR when you need them?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Smoking in the
right.
room, like it's fine.
Yeah,
That's normal.
Smoking next
here.
to the patient using
You're like,
oxygen.
but did you die? Well, kind of did.
Oh man! So Danvers shows up again. I went, okay. We see young Patty in the flashback, and you see her actually killing people. So it's like, oh well, that's. I mean, you already find out that she was actually killing people because she fucking goes psycho before. But then it's like, here's your proof that she was part of it. And you get this like face off with them where like they're like running through the hospital and she's shooting at him with the shotgun. Also, where's she keeping all the bullets? Does the dress have pockets?
In her pockets.
Her dress has pockets?
Maybe.
Could be. I didn't.
They have to.
Yeah, sure.
It does have an extended magazine on it, so it's gonna hold 8 probably tops.
Okay.
She just put them down
8
her bra.
shots. Yeah, one of the chambers.
That's the prime place, right? It's where the ladies store everything.
I mean, really.
What were we talking about? Where?
In the bra.
Oh, that's not what I thought. I thought she just like spread her legs
Hey.
and shells would fall out. Like,
I've seen lady pull wine bottles from their boobs, so I mean, she could.
Ladies,
have-
listen. This is 100% serious talk. Don't store shit in your bra. I don't want it. I don't care how fucking good looking you
want
are.
It.
Do you
Just
want
wet
me?
titty money?
Do you want
I
me?
would listen, I would rather have titty money than crotch money because I've had it.
Yes.
And it's gross.
I don't. Do you want me to pull shit out from underneath my balls or out from underneath my arms? No, you don't. Don't keep shit in your tits. It gets sweaty and smelly in there too. Fucking stop it. If you don't, I got nowhere to keep it. Buy pants with fucking pockets in it.
They make them.
This goes for guys too. Don't store your shit anywhere but pockets.
It is funny though when you find out that a lot of women's pockets are fake pockets. They're not
so
real.
stupid.
They're flesh pockets.
Or they're only big enough to put like a cup, like 2 quarters in it.
That's what I was telling. Like, I didn't, of course, know this till I was, with her for a while. I was like, are you fucking serious? I thought people just had pockets. I thought it was just normal that people had pockets.
I've gotten crotch money, and when I gave her a change back, she put it back in her pants. And I'm like, thanks, but no thanks. I need to go burn my hands. Goodbye.
Go burn my hands. Where's a hot grill when I need one?
Where's it? Just
make sure.
Don't touch me. I'm sterile.
So when you have a bill that stinks up your drawer, and you give it to the next person that comes by and needs that, so you can get it out of your drawer.
What about when you get somebody hands you money from a pocket or a place, but it's oddly saturated?
Oh man,
that bothers me.
I had a guy, he pulled it from his back pocket and it was like that. And I'm like,
ass sweat.
How much sweat are you producing?
Listen, as a sweaty person, I sweat way more than I want to. I'm sorry to anyone who has to deal. Like, I try to make sure my money isn't like pressed up against my body. I don't need to be handing that.
Does it sweat through your wallet?
Well, I have one of those like metal ones where it's like a clip. And I just make sure the clip is facing to the outside, so that doesn't shit out of me. Also, I make sure that when I put my phone in my pocket, the screen is facing out, because there are days, especially during the summer, it gets really sweaty, and it'll start fucking doing shit on my phone. Like, I'll literally take my phone out of my pocket and it'll be like, "Why are there 7 apps open? Did I make a purchase? I don't know what's happening. This is scary."
A random screenshot.
Yeah.
I've had that happen. Yep.
Thanks,
but no thanks. I don't need that screenshot.
So yeah, Dammers takes Lucy, and we get this really cool moment though where Frank is hiding under the bed, like trying to hide from Patty, and she's wandering around looking for him, and I really liked how tense that scene was. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Again, Dammers just being here to be here. He gets the ashes because there's this weird thing where it's like, ooh, Frank's going to go into the chapel, but a statue of Jesus is about to fall over and he's got to catch that. And then the ashes go flying and then Dammers catches it.
It's like this Looney Tunes ass shit. And you're just like, what?
Yeah.
And then he goes, so you need to release this, or you need to get rid of these, put these in a holy place to release the evil. Well, these aren't going to be released today. And then just dumps them out. And I went, why?
Oops.
He's like, yeah, so you're going to tell me, let me guess, you got to get this on the church on time.
Yeah.
If you don't get it there, you got to, it's like, he's being like obnoxious about what the plot is and just like, oh, let me see, yes, this. He's like, well, yeah, just give me the fucking ashes.
Yeah, it's
just like, once again, like, it doesn't make sense. It just it makes sense for plot purposes because that's what they wanted to do, but it's just silly. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of this movie is it only happens because it needs to happen for the movie to continue to move forward.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then you get the whole thing where it's like Michael J. Fox literally delivers this line as I'm watching, like in the same way I would react, where he's just like, you're an asshole. And then he goes, yeah, yep. I'm an asshole with an Uzi. And then he was going to shoot him, but then he's like, I don't want to shoot, I'm a man, I'm an agent of the United States. Shoot him. Well, he shoots him, but then he doesn't want to shoot him in the back because he's a man of the law. Yeah. And of course he turns around and sees Patty aiming at him, and then there's like a hole in the floor, and there's a whole thing where he steps in the hole and just as he goes, she shoots, and it fucking blows Dahmer's head off. And I do like the effect though, where when his head gets shot off, he immediately turns into a ghost, like his head.
Yep.
You just see his throat or whatever, just go like that, and just blood spurts out.
Yep.
So you find out that Patty and Johnny killed Frank's wife because she ended up. You find out that she had a 12 on her head. No, 13, which we found out earlier. And Patty ends up killing him, choking him out, and then as he's gonna go to heaven or wherever, he grabs her and starts going up, and then Johnny needs to go up and save her. And then you get this whole thing where they're like fighting over it. Frank gets up to heaven, and Johnny and Patty are like, we're going to go back there. We're going to wreak more havoc. And it's like, yeah, no, that's not happening, because then the light turns into like this hellscape. And then you get some deep.
It's the credits of Spawn. Carry on.
They are, but also it's the fucking creature from Deep Rising. It's like
little
versions of that freaking thing that comes out and attacks them. It's pretty cool effect though. And they're like going through their ghost faces and all that. And
oh yeah, that scared the shit out of me when I saw that. I was
down their throat.
That terrified me. Terrified me when I was little. I had nightmares about that. 100%. No, not even gonna lie.
That's fair.
They're deep throating this worm.
Yeah, so
well, they're going to hell. So
I mean, really,
that's guck, but there's no safe word. So
yeah.
So
what did they say is like what's called there's never a wait in hell, and there's never a line or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But
there's no pineapple here.
Yeah, Frank gets up to heaven and he's like, I'm good. I just want to stay here. And they're like, it's not your time yet. You got to go back. He sees his wife one more time, and he's sent back down, and then him and Lucy become a couple, and you find out that she can also see ghosts because of the whole ordeal. And Walt wants to write a book about the whole situation with Frank. Oh, and also they knock down the house. And then we get Fear the Reaper, which, fun fact, this is one of the two movies that came out in 1996 that used this song. Can you name the other one?
1996?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Godzilla?
Nope.
It's 2 years later.
Oh, dang.
Almost.
Scream.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't realize that was even in there.
So, yeah.
Damn, I suck.
So that's it. That is The Frighteners from 1996. Let's go around the room and talk about our final thoughts on the movie. Logan, start us off. What's your perspective on the movie after rewatching it?
It's good. I mean, I really liked the comedy when I was little because the ghosts were, I mean, there's a lot of kind of I would say slapstick style comedy. I mean, we were talking about Mask earlier, and it's definitely on par, just like the Mask, that little over the top silliness. Rewatching it as an adult, I still enjoy it. It is a good movie. And it's just now that I'm a little bit older, I start to catch on these little quirkiness that are in a PeterJackson film. So it leaves more of an impression on me because I can differentiate between different films. Okay, this is a lot like this, and this is a lot like this, and then also you can tell also being a fan of Jeffrey Combs, him actually being different characters and so forth. Because you watch this movie, and then you watch Castle Freak, you can tell he is a character actor. He puts on this whole big persona to be a new character in each film. He's not just, it's not wash, rinse, repeat, So I will say watching a film like this, I do have more respect for it. Do I like it as much as the first time I saw it when I was little? I don't think so. Cause I really liked it then. But it's still it's still a fun movie. When my son gets older, I'm definitely going to play it for him. Cause this is a good introduction to horror movie, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because this is a horror movie. It's it was sold to me as a comedy, as far as the trailers go, but this is a horror movie straight through.
Absolutely. Angela.
For seeing this for the first time, I enjoyed watching this. I enjoyed the comedy, but I love Arlie Ermy, love Michael J. Fox, Jeffrey Combs. I enjoyed watching them just almost be themselves. So I can't add much more than what Logan said.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty good. I thought this was a pretty good viewing for my first time as well. Like, we already talked about the significant actors. I kind of like. I guess if you're not thinking too hard about it, like the kind of like whodunit nature of Source. I mean, like I guess you could kind of figure it out if you really think about it, but depending on how you're not paying attention, because I thought the mom, the old lady Bradley, was going to be a villain of some type. Like she was manipulating Patricia the whole time, or she's the one that's full of shit. But obviously, it ends up not being that way. So there's a little bit. There's like these layers of stuff that's going on, especially with Jeffrey Combs' fucking character. You don't know what the hell that dude's going to do from one scene to the next, and it does feel like a bigger budget movie coming from, of course, my only experience, like I said, being Dead Alive, but you just have that corporate oversight, so it can't be as zany as he probably wanted to be, but it's still there. Like, we're not punting zombie babies across the fucking playground and stuff, but we're gonna have an undead dude fuck a mummy, like very, indirectly, quote unquote, I suppose. But as it definitely has. I've never seen a movie where it happens, so that's a first for me. But yeah, it's definitely one that you need to see, and I do want to see it again at some point, just so I can I think it's one of those movies that you'll probably enjoy it the more times you see it, like just because enjoy the zaniness of it, I suppose. But
yeah, as for me, I had a blast with this movie. This movie was fun. I love the effects. I love the performances. Like, even though we were giving a lot of shit to the Jeffrey Combs character, I will watch anything that man does. Like, people hate the movie Fear.com. I like that movie because Jeffrey Combs is in it. He's not in it for very long, but he's there. And if that's the thing, is like Jeffrey Combs shows up in something, I'm gonna watch it. Like, he's just so much fun to watch. And he puts it all on in this performance. He actually modeled, I mean, if you couldn't tell, he modeled his look after a very bad person back in World War II times. And he just they pretty much just gave him creative control over everything that he did in the movie. So bravo to him. But yeah, Michael J. Fox was great. Again, the effects, like I said, are fantastic. And I had to, like I said, I watched this movie twice because I hadn't watched it in so long. I wanted to watch it like without taking notes, kind of just experiencing it again as a movie, and then going back and doing notes again. And I had a blast both times. Thought it was really just well done. And I wish we could get something like this from PeterJackson again. I wish we could go back to like old school PeterJackson at some point down the road. I don't see it happening based on what he's doing nowadays. He's pretty much set for life from doing all those damn Lord of the Ring movies. But I miss this PeterJackson. Yeah, so that's it. That is the end of Ghost Month. Next week is the start of Spooktober, where we all pick spooky movies to come. Listen, we talk about horror movies all year long, but this is our designated we only talk horror for October. Next week we're talking about Dan's pick. Dan, what are we talking about next week?
Well, it's got two names, but Let Sleeping Corpses Lie, or another common name for it is The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue.
There we go. And
1973 zombie movie.
Yes. And if you want to watch it,
British.
Hopefully it's still there by the time this episode is out. It is currently on Shudder or AMC Plus. If you don't own it physically,
I got it.
But yeah. So yeah, that's what we're doing next week. I'm very excited to check that out because I've never seen it before. So it'll be my first time. Get to
There's
pop
one
my cherry there.
There's one very specific scene in it, and
So
Angela doesn't. I'm not saying nothing.
You get to pop more than that.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we got a lot of fun movies picked out for Spooktober, and we have a big Halloween episode as we always do at the end of the month. But you guys will have to wait to find out what that is. But that is it for that. Logan, thank you so much for being here. and
thank you.
enduring the torture that is Dissect That Film. Can you please?
I still have my fingernails, so we're good. We're good.
I'm down one.
Please let everybody know where they can find you and your awesome podcast.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can look up Video Villa Entertainment in any social media. You'll find us, Video Villa Entertainment, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You can always just type in videovillaentertainment.com, and that'll show you links to everything that we have. This is coming out Friday?
This will be out the last week of September.
Last week of September. Okay, so never mind then. we had an event that we were doing, so I was like, oh, if you want to see us in person, but like this will come out past the event.
Sorry, yeah, we record these a few weeks.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine.
But if you want to tell us, if you want to tell us what movie, what episode would be out by then, because I know you guys do bi-weekly episodes.
Yeah, we do bi-weekly. Yeah, so we do every other week episodes. To be honest, we're pretty loose when it comes to picking the movie. Like there are certain movies that we will plan for, but usually it's kind of like just kind of what one another's feeling or whatever.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I do know we do plan to do like Doctor Sleep, but I don't think we'll be doing that anytime soon. But like there's certain things that we know we will plan to do. But as far as like the rotation, so forth, it's kind of like what we're vibing on and stuff like that. I do know like there's some movies that Becca wants to get to, and I do know like with October coming up, so there's coming more like maybe like Halloween related movies, but not like horror related movies.
Oh, okay.
We might be putting out like more like family Halloween style, you know, because there's actually a couple like actually good like modern Halloween movies that maybe not everyone has watched that I kind of want to shed some light on, that are like readily available like on Netflix and stuff like that. But like when you talk about it, someone's like, I've never seen that movie. I'm like, oh, it's like a Goosebumps episode, but it's like 2 hours long.
I'm very excited for that.
Dr. Sleep's good.
Dr. Sleep is amazing. Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
So all of the links to everything that Logan does with Video Villa will be down in the description or in the show notes. So make sure to check all of that out. You got a merch store too, right? So
yeah, we've got a merch store, but it's not operational. But if you do want to buy one of our shirts, I do have a shirt on TeePublic that you can buy, and if you ever go to one of our videos, it's in the links there.
All right,
you know what's called. I can provide you the link, but yeah, it's just and you can put it on anything you want. So that's the one cool thing about TeePublic is you make whatever you want.
Yeah, we have one too. I never ever shout it out because I always forget. But yeah, we also have a shop over at TeePublic where you can get shirts like this. Can't really see.
Look, there's stuff like this is a TeePublic Beyond shirt that from an artist, and it's like it's good quality. Like I will say, if you ever want to buy something from TeePublic, they're classic fit shirts.
Yeah.
Or I will say, if you like a thicker material, they have the heavyweight shirt. I just bought a heavyweight shirt from TeePublic, and it's like a extra weight. I don't know if it's like Gildan or a Hanes tee or something like that. But all I know is it's an extremely good quality shirt. Like it's like one of the like better shirts I actually own. And the cool thing is like that, like it's like the printing from TeePublic. If you ever want to pull a trigger, their shirts last for a long time.
This is this is the first shirt I bought from them when I started the store, I think like 2 years ago. And this thing is still not faded or anything, going through the wash a bunch of times. It still looks good. Dan wears his all the time. Angela's got
they're great
hoodie
stuff
at work all the time.
So, TeePublic, check out both stores. As for us, you can follow us on all the social. Oh wait, I completely skipped over comments. I'm gonna have to. I forgot comments. I'm so sorry. I'm so off right now. We've been going for a while. We're going to go to social media and see what you all had to say about the Frighteners. Our first comment is from Twitter. Yes, it's Twitter still. From M.
The tweeter.
At Verbal Diorama, a film history podcast at Verbal Diorama. Check her episode out with us on The Mummy 1999. She said, underrated gem. It's not one of Jackson's best, but it's a lot more important to his filmography and to New Zealand cinema than many people realize. And then at SWO Productions or Stu World Order, he says, yeah, it's great. And then over on Instagram, we got quite a few. Our first one is from _Mike, who says, it's my favorite Peter Jackson flick, a fun watch. Give Me Back My Action Movie says, I really enjoy this movie. It has a playful feel while still being a good horror movie. Patron of the show, Daniel Collins, or Big Optimist 33, says, I remember seeing this years ago on television. I had no idea Michael J. Fox was in this movie when I watched it. Damn surprised and unpleasantly impressed. Chris, oh boy, I'm so sorry, Chris. Chris Skacairn? If I messed that up, I apologize. One of my favorite Peter Jackson films. And then the last one is from Movie Fanatic 4500, who said, I grew up with this film, and I always enjoyed it. It could have used at least one more scene of R. Lee Ermey degrading Fox. Their banter was hilarious. I still rewatch it every couple of years alongside Brain Dead and Meet the Feebles. And then I don't think we got anything over on... No. Okay. All right. So, yeah, thank you so much for leaving your comments. Make sure to follow us over on all the social media apps so that you know when we are, what movie we're watching. You guys can leave comments on those movies. We love reading your comments and hearing what you all had to say about the movie we're covering. So you can follow us at Dissect That Film on, like I just said, all the social media apps. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/Dissect That Film. For a single $1, you can get early access to episodes, access to polls, blooper reels, all that fun stuff. And then we have a $3 tier where you get access to our Patreon exclusive show called The Monster Zone, where once a month we spin a wheel, land on a monster movie, and we talk about it. For September, we're talking about The Deadly Mantis from 1957. So make sure to check that out if you want to support us financially. If you can't do that, make sure to go to your favorite podcast apps and leave us 5 stars because it does help us. It helps the show get into more people's ears, and that's kind of the goal. We want more people to listen to the show, and we appreciate it. Make sure to leave us 5 stars because that's really cool. Also, you can leave reviews over on Apple Podcasts, on Good Pods, and we're on YouTube, where some of you may be watching us right now, where you can see our lovely faces, where you can see all the goofiness. So yeah, go to youtube.com/Dissect That Film. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. It's all free. And it's fun because I've been putting a little bit more work into the videos. I've been adding clips, which I didn't do for a long time, but it's really fun to kind of, is it working? Who knows? But it is, it's fun. But that's it for that. The last thing I'm going to do is thank our wonderful patrons, Billy Joseph Jr., Corey Morissette, Andrew Schoening, Jason, Dustin from the Flicks and Friends podcast, Daniel Collins, Dan and Angela of DNA Gaming, Doom Generation, Eric Stein, Robert Stewart, Rudy5453, The Barons Hideout Podcast, Paul Jansen, Dennis, Charles, Bucket of Chum Podcast, Official Joey C, and Movie Fanatic. Thank you so much for supporting us over on Patreon, and thank you to everybody for just supporting us, period, because without you, this show doesn't exist. So,
yes,
I think that's it. Is that it? Do I got anything else, Dan?
Angela? I think so.
Good? All right. Logan, you good?
Yep,
Logan's like,
I'm
the fuck out of here.
Yes. God, let's fuck go.
All right, everybody. Until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Dan Angelo of DNA Gaming, and that is Logan from the Video Villa Entertainment Podcast. This has been episode 174 of Dissect That Film. We'll see you all again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.